New York Governor Kathy Hochul joins us now.
Boo!
This is happening because there are still assault weapons in our country. Someone comes from another state carrying an assault weapon designed only for battlefields to commit mayhem and mass murder in our cities. If every state had the same laws uniformly, you could not have a situation where we fight really hard in the state of New York to make sure that we have the toughest gun laws in the nation. We have the lowest of all the large states homicide rate by guns.
I doubt it.
And we want that same sense of urgency to go out across the nation. States like Nevada, every state should do this because right now we've been waiting for the federal government, for Congress to step up, and the Republicans in Congress are so intimidated by the gun lobby.
I say f*** you.
You America-hating communist pig.
In this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. Broadcasting from a Montana wilderness fortress at the headwaters of the Missouri, this is Matt Christiansen Live.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Matt Christiansen Live, a proud duct tape production for Wednesday, July 20th, 2025. Thank you for tuning in. Sitting shotgun tonight is both of our friends. What was that about?
Real quick, I can't hear anything from y'all.
Yeah, Matt's muted.
Are you muted, Matt?
Had you muted in the Zoom. But, you know, a little bit of duct tape. It's not a trick. I wasn't trying to prank you. A little bit of duct tape.
I thought I was tripping at first.
To start the show. Sitting shotgun tonight, we got two of our friends. Both Batman and Joshy Boy are here.
Saddle up, partner.
What's up?
Have you
How's
guys
it going, folks?
Ever actually spoken to each other together? Is that a thing that's happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Only on the call-in show.
I mean by voice, of course. Not like, I know you've Discord chatted or whatever. But, okay, so this is not like a first-time event, but...
Not really, no.
It will be our first ever three-man stream tonight before the August break, though. So
That's a big game, man.
we got that first. In the news for discussion tonight, the economy shows good improvement, 3% growth in GDP in the second quarter. Investigators are still searching for answers on the guy who says he had CTE and shot up the building with the NFL headquarters in New York City, while Governor Kathy Hochul blames the guns and other states. Trump says Epstein stole famed accuser Virginia Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago, and that was part of Trump and Epstein's split in the mid-2000s. And yes, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the viral Sweeney Nazi jeans ad.
I saw that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of the gag of the week. But there was some really funny stuff on Twitter I want to discuss a little bit. Anyway, we'll take your calls and emails to close. If you'd like to call the show, you can do that using the Discord server linked in the description. There are instructions and help available on the server for you. And we'll take your super chats as well. Speaking of, hey, if you enjoy the show, please consider supporting the show. You can do that one time or recurring for as little as $1 a month over on my website, mattchristiansenmedia.com/support. Support for the show not only helps me sustain, but it pays the people who make the show possible as well. There are perks available for your support too. Or you can check out the merch store. Lots of great graphics for t-shirts, mugs, and more. Likewise, merch sales help not only my operation, but they support the designers who made these designs as well, all of whom are listeners of this stream. mattchristiansenmedia.com/shop. Find both of those links right there on the homepage, mattchristiansenmedia.com, or mattis.gay if you can't spell my confusing name. And we got to say hello to our friendly listener-owned business for the evening, and that's our friends at Hero Soap Company. A longtime favorite at Hero Soap is back while supplies last. Lemongrass is easy, calming, and lemony sweet, like sipping a tall glass of lemonade watching the summer sunset. Now, personally, it is one of my favorite Hero soaps. It smells just like lemon drop candy. As always, you can get some of this lemongrass bar soap or any of Hero Soap's other fine offerings, including liquid soap, shampoo, conditioner, cologne, and more, including products in my signature scents, of course, Timberline and Old West. Get 10% off all of it using promo code MCListener at HeroSoapCompany.com. Great smelling, made in the USA, all natural products, and a portion of all sales go to military and first responder charities. 10% off Hero Soap, promo code MCListener, HeroSoapCompany.com. find all the information on my deals page, mattchristiansenmedia.com/deals. Deals by listeners for listeners. Now, by now, I think everybody knows, but just in case not, this is the last stream until September. After tonight, no videos, no streams. To finish the show, I have some closing thoughts about it. I intend to come back September 7th, right around there, mattchristiansenmedia.com for all the latest information. I'll post any updates or changes as we get closer to the start of September there. As a reminder, all my business activities are still happening besides videos and streams in August. So I'm still doing my video calls with supporters, still doing Bible study on Friday nights, open for anybody to join. You can email me, as always, with any questions, mattchristiansenmedia.com for all of that. Well, Batman, I feel like I don't know if I owe you an apology, but you were one of the president's tariff defenders in the history of the stream, I think is fair to say. And yes. I've tried not to be harshly critical, but I've been tariff skeptical. And today we got news that the economy is growing beyond expectations. Our GDP, our gross domestic product, as in the sum of all the things we make and all the services we provide in this country, that grew 3% in the second quarter, April through June. That exceeded even expectations, which were 2.3%. And that's certainly better than the 0.5% decline the quarter prior. And of course, all of it better than the Biden recession that didn't count before all that. But of course, all this is despite the tariff fears, despite the bad tariff forecasts. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on being more right than I was potentially about these things. Go right ahead.
All right. Well, would you mind picking up that phone?
Because
I fucking called it.
Oh.
He actually did it.
Hold on. I wasn't ready for that one. I mean,
that was pretty good.
It is possible that the... Do you have more? Sorry. Was this a sequence of jokes or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope. That's all I got. No, I'm just, this is, I won't say that I predicted that, things would be, I predicted that things would go well. I did not think that they would go great, or I didn't know how that was going to do. My prediction was not particularly sophisticated or specific, but I just kind of I gave Trump the trust in this arena that I think he has earned.
Yeah, you were a plan truster and you got away with it.
Well, in this particular case.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to dealing with the deep state, he's got a bad track record. But when it comes to economic matters, I think he knows what he's doing.
Well, they tried to throw cold water on this, and I tried to read some of the counter case. Frankly, I don't even understand it, because when we had bad economic news under Biden, it was, well, you don't understand. Actually, it's this. It's not really a recession, and you're not looking at A, B, and C. Now, when you have great economic news, the economy growing beyond expectations, and certainly expectations relative to what may have been viewed as tariff threats or obstacles, you have this piece in Reuters. I'm reading it. Okay, yeah, the economy's growing. This rebound growth in the second quarter, but that masks underlying slowing trend. That's a weird one.
The economy is growing and everyone's doing better. Here's why that's bad.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. They can never give Trump a win on this one.
So the cold water, frankly, I don't fully understand this. So if you guys get it better than I do, let me know. But they're saying domestic demand increased at its slowest pace in 2.5 years. So in other words, the growth in sales of domestically produced goods, slower than it has been in recent years. That's not decline. That's not loss. It's just the growth in some sales was not as good as it has been recently.
Yeah, they're looking for any single negative piece of statistical noise that they can to try and scaremonger people away from voting Trump, or they're not going to vote Trump anymore. But you know what I mean? They're basically just doing everything they can to cast him in a negative light, like they've been doing for the last decade.
Yeah,
so far so standard.
Yeah. So far, he can find a cure to cancer, and they'll say, well, what about this disease? He didn't find the cure to that.
You're murdering cancer.
Exactly.
How dare he?
He didn't intimidate Jerome Powell. Actually, it's not even Jerome Powell's decision, but the growth rate or the growth news did not persuade the Fed to lower interest rates as Trump said they should. Today, the Fed voted 9-2 to keep the federal funds rate set at the in the range between 4.25% to 4.5%. No change. That was expected. The dissenting votes, though, from the Fed. There's a group of governors who make this decision, and these Fed governors have not actually had 2 dissents in a decision on interest rates like this since 1993. So, if not now, that would imply a shift toward lowering rates in the future. The Fed will meet again in September. When a rate cut is again possible. So maybe some relief from interest rates that have been fairly high for the last couple of years. But
yeah, my perspective of go ahead.
Well, I'm ready to move on to very important news matters, but I don't. What do you got?
Well, I think the Fed is not exactly an institution that is pro-Trump. So expect shenanigans is all I can say.
I didn't think this would wrap up. So I don't know if it's wrapped up entirely, but I thought this would take far longer to see any type of results. From my understanding of tariffs, it takes about 10 years before you see any kind of fruit bearing from these kinds of things. But the fact that we're already at 3% and second quarter, I don't know, that's great. But what about long term? And I'm genuinely
There's
asking.
a lot of time. There's a lot of deals that remain unsecured, and there's a lot of time for negative consequences to. Yeah, I mean, just because we had a good quarter doesn't mean you have a good year, good 5 years, good decade, whatever. But I mean, until you start seeing negative signs, I don't really understand the sky is falling worry from some of these people or the attempt at it.
No, it seems still too early.
Do you guys remember speaking of the real news, it's time for that. Do you remember the obese rapper Dank Demoss? The seemingly impossibly fat woman in Detroit.
The double Whopper meal lady.
I think it's more than 2.
Front ass.
Yeah, well, I mean, among the many mysteries for science, like, how is it possible that your front ass is still the fattest ass in the entire city? I mean, that you got problems.
Why aren't people ashamed to come outside looking like that, man?
Well, culture has changed, man. Now it's healthy at any size, proud at any size. Anyway, she said she was suing Lyft for their inability to lift her. Remember that in the winter?
Yeah.
She ordered a ride. The driver showed up. The driver would not let her get into the car on the basis not only that he didn't think she would fit, but he wasn't convinced that his car could handle her mechanically. Like it might cause suspension problems or something like that.
Shit, that's a legit concern, though.
She's 500 pounds. She's only the size of 2 large men.
And wasn't that guy's car, wasn't it just a regular vehicle? Like a small vehicle?
Yeah, like
too?
a sedan. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he ain't carrying 500 pounds in that thing.
Well, I for whatever reason you may want to refuse Dank Demoss, I'm just fine with that, no matter what your reasoning may be. But he
front ass. That's all you need to.
Is there enough room? Does the seat slide forward enough for her front ass to fit in the back? Yeah. Well, I don't see an update on her Lyft litigation. I don't know if it's still ongoing or if they've given up on that. It's been half a year. But Dank Demoss, not dead. Miraculously, that heart is still beating somehow. And she's apparently been working out. Or maybe this is just her natural state. Because this week she posted a video of herself doing the splits. And if you didn't think that she could fit into that car, well, I guess you're not factoring her flexibility.
Ah!
That's a huge bitch.
Oh my God, it looks like somebody pinched a turd on the rug.
Brother.
Now, I thought this was impressive. I don't know if it's that impressive. Reports say that her legs are actually broken in many places from trying to bear the weight of the rest of her body. So when your legs are actually jelly, you can do that quite easily. As part of this gesture, Dank Demoss says, "I'm going to steal your man."
I doubt it.
What
No,
man?
you ain't.
What man doesn't
You steal
want
a
to see
man's
that?
cheeseburger. How about that? Shit.
Anyway, if anybody knows anything about what's going on with the Dank Demoss Lyft litigation, I would like an update. I wasn't able to find one. I know that's her stage name, though. Her real name is something else, so maybe I searched incorrectly.
Gosh.
I got a story for you about Aloha Mama, Joshy.
Yes.
Your beloved Tulsi
And so it
Gabbard.
begins.
Yes.
This is actually really about Keith Olbermann. I mean, it's about both of them. But MSNBC, former MSNBC and ESPN host Keith Olbermann, one of the best follows on X, just for pure, unhinged, deranged leftist rage. Very entertaining. Keith Olbermann, I think, demonstrates that men, at least in later stages of life, can go as crazy as women do if they're old with no family and nothing left to live for. But
No, he's just not very manly.
maybe it's that.
Yeah, man, he's a woman.
He does morph into Rosie O'Donnell by the day. But
I can see it.
all he does is rage about the day's news. He calls everyone who disagrees with him for any reason a fascist. He had that bit about crying urine or whatever. Those aren't tears, they're urine, fascist, or whatever that bit was. But this week, his target is Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. Now, usually, Keith just responds to things with rage. I knew that Keith had really hit rock bottom when I saw him being a Tim Pool reply guy. Now, I'm not taking shots at Tim. I'm just saying, how is it that a guy who used to be very high in the cable news ranks, both in sports and news, has been reduced to replying to Tim Pool tweets with rage?
Because he fell out of relevance years ago.
Yeah.
Decades ago.
What are you talking about? He still makes a show.
Oh, yeah, with all 4 of his followers, right? He's right behind that, what was it, Chuck Todd's show?
I would definitely
after he got the axe and he started a show with like 12 concurrent viewers.
And right up there with Acosta from CNN. Yeah, I remember his show.
Yeah. And soon, Stephen Colbert.
What does he run again? The Blaze?
Who?
Keith Olbermann.
Did you just confuse Keith with God?
Glenn Beck.
Yes, Glenn Beck. Yeah.
Who the fuck is he? I am confusing.
Well, okay, let's just get right to it. This isn't even a Keith reply. This is just a proud declaration. In complete ownership of Tulsi Gabbard, Keith Olbermann posted this insult that took him God knows how long to think up. Tull shit, Gabbard.
Fucking own, bitch!
End of tweet.
Because I massively simped for Tulsi Gabbard, of course I had to respond to that.
Oh, you saw this already?
Yeah, I saw this. I was like,
you know who that is, right? That's not Glenn Beck.
That's Keith Olbermann.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a huge blank for these people.
You've already forgotten. Okay, you simped for Tulsi how? Sorry to interrupt.
No, but I was reading through the comment section. It's just people roasting this man into oblivion, right?
Well,
but no, go ahead.
Well, but you said did you simp for Tulsi? Did you have a reply to defend her honor?
Yeah, I did. Well, I don't know how to. Do I send this to you on?
Well, what did you say? Just tell me what you said.
All right, so because Mama Tulsi is a surfer, and I tried to be clever, right? And it took me like 2 minutes. Let me pull it up. It says, Mama Tulsi is too busy riding the waves of victory. Stay on the shore like the washed up beach whale you are.
Fucking own, bitch!
All right, I'll allow it. Now, see, as far as I've seen, Tulsi has not responded. And I thought, well, Tulsi's very busy with important things. So maybe if she doesn't have the time to think of things as clever as Keith Olbermann offers here, we could offer her a little help. So I think she should get on her official DNI X account and respond with Keith Olber faggot. Is that Keith Olber faggot? Or if she wants to be a little edgier, she could try Keith Olber Kaniga. Or she could just hit him right where it hurts. Keith Older man with no family and nothing left to live for. Those are free of charge. Tulsi, you can use those.
I've seen that. I've seen Keith Older man end of career. I've seen that multiple times.
Queef Older man.
Queer Older man.
Go.
Oh, Tim. Producer Tim says Dank Demoss lost the lift case. So I didn't know that, but
geez, that's the only thing it should be losing from now on.
That's news to me. Let me see. Sorry to jump on your joke. That was a good one. I think that was even better than your Tulsi simping.
Oh Oh, well, look, I proudly sent for Tulsi. All right, I will admit that was a bit cringe, but I don't care. It's Mama Tulsi.
This is some kind of obscure reporting, but yeah, it's back from March. Says the court rules in favor of rideshare. I don't know. There was a ruling already, or did it just get dismissed? I'm a little skeptical of this claim, but maybe it's true. Haven't heard anything about it for a long time.
Jesus, man, I think Buffalo's more lean than her.
Buffalo is a very lean meat. Have you ever had a bison burger?
I believe so, but it was a while ago.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I have. They're good.
It's unfair to insult bison as though they have a similar BMI to Dank Demoss. They do not.
They always go with that BMI bullshit. Well, my BMI is actually great. Bitch, you're fat as fuck.
All right, let's get into the New York City football CTE shooting. Investigators are still trying to figure out why a guy drove all the way from Las Vegas with an AR-15 to try to shoot up. Well, he did shoot some people. He was trying to shoot up NFL headquarters, but he got on the wrong elevator, so he didn't actually make it to the NFL. And he shot security personnel and someone with BlackRock that shares the building. He killed 4 people, including an off-duty New York City police officer who was working security, and then he killed himself with a gunshot to the torso and left a note saying he wants his brain studied because he has CTE. And he thinks the NFL is responsible for covering up the true nature of brain damage caused by football. And so I guess he holds the NFL accountable for his own CTE, even though he was never in the NFL, never an NFL prospect, played high school football, but holds the NFL accountable for the cover-up, I guess. We also don't know if he has CTE or had it. They're going to potentially look at his brain, the mayor says, and figure out if he had it, but we don't know that for sure. But it's a possibility we might get that information on his autopsy. But this guy's name is Shane Tamura. He was 27 years old. Possibly white guy, as CNN called him, even though he's pretty clearly like Afro-Japanese or something. But as far as his gun, we now know that he had a build that he put together himself from Palmetto State Armory. He assembled this from parts. Fairly easy to do if you know what you're doing and you have a couple tools. According to The Guardian, though, one of his associates is under investigation for supplying him with parts, implying that there may have been potentially a straw purchase involved. Now, even if he put together this rifle from parts from Palmetto State Armory, that lower, the receiver part here, just above the magazine, that is still legally a gun. And so one way or another, that had to be purchased through a licensed dealer. If you got it shipped from Palmetto State Armory to Nevada, you'd have to get it shipped to a dealer. You'd have to get a background check. You'd have to go through the process just like you're buying a gun. So it's not really a workaround in terms of all the hoops that you need to jump through if you put a gun together in this way. But we don't necessarily know how exactly that happened or why he would want a straw purchase if that is what happened. If someone gave him the lower or bought it for him, something like that. It was reported earlier that he had an M4 rifle, and it sounds like that just maybe was a mistake from media or investigators. The M4 carbine or carbine, everyone says carbine, and I feel like I'm the last guy to say carbine anymore, but carbine just sounds better to me.
I say it too. Yeah.
All right, so I'm not
carbine, that's the correct pronunciation.
Thank you for validating me. Anyways, reported that he had an M4. The M4 is the fully automatic military issue version of the AR-15. That is not what he had. He had, your vanilla semi-automatic AR-15 build from Palmetto State Armory. People have these in millions probably across the country or hundreds of thousands, I'm sure. So I don't know how that M4 reporting came to be, but that's not what he had. He just had a vanilla AR. Tamura,
I mean, that reporting probably happened because, some FUDs that are trying to do reporting on what his gun is don't actually know the difference.
They played Call of Duty and they remember, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So he also had a concealed carry permit in Nevada, and him having that concealed carry permit implies a clean background, which it sounds like he mostly had, criminally speaking. Now, they say that he's had a history of mental health problems. I know they found some prescription drugs at his house that they were searching over the last couple days. As far as a criminal record or any kind of like court adjudication of mental unhealthiness or some kind of insanity, I don't think he had that in his background. He was arrested. He worked as a security guard at one of the casinos and hotels in Vegas, and he had an arrest in September of 2023 related to some dispute at a casino in Vegas where someone asked him for his ID. He didn't want to show his ID. Some sort of fight happened. He got a trespass charge. The charge was later dropped, and it was a misdemeanor anyway. So that wouldn't block him from a gun purchase. But another thing about the way this developed, as you can see in surveillance video, I mean, this guy just looks like a GTA character. He's going up to this big skyscraper in New York City, open carrying an AR in New York City, which you can't do. That's what he's doing right there is illegal in many ways. You can't have that gun, and you can't walk around with that gun openly like that.
New York City is basically our largest gun-free zone.
Theoretically.
So, just like... Yeah, I mean,
in their world,
it
yes,
is the largest gun-free zone that, like many other gun-free zones, shootings happen in.
Yeah,
impossible, says Kathy Hochul, and I know that you have recently escaped her reign of terror, Batman. But Kathy Hochul,
you got out of there just in time, didn't you?
She is still, freely distributing her nonsense.
Yes. I may have left, but she is still absolutely free to jump off a bridge.
Do you have a preference in New York City? Which one is the best one for jumping?
I don't know.
Well, Kathy Hochul immediately got on CNN to blame Nevada and blame guns. And we still don't even fully understand what happened here. We don't have all the facts. Kathy says it wasn't, none of this would ever happen if only all the other states, like Nevada, would just do what New York does and ban assault weapons. And of course, we need Congress to do that nationally.
This is happening because there are still assault weapons in our country. This goes to the difference between states' laws related to gun ownership. In the state of New York, you cannot buy one of these. You have to be over age 18. You cannot have access. I mean, he had a concealed carry permit, which allowed him to have this weapon. Much looser laws in the state of Nevada than we have here. And so our argument is this: if every state had the same laws uniformly, you could not have a situation where we fight really hard in the state of New York to make sure that we have the toughest gun laws in the nation. We have the lowest of all the large states homicide rate by guns. New York City, New York State has the lowest homicide rate by guns in the nation for large states. And that's because of laws that are working. And we want that same sense of urgency to go out across the nation. States like Nevada, every state should do this, because right now we've been waiting for the federal government, for Congress to step up, and the Republicans in Congress are so intimidated by the gun lobby.
I don't want to hear any more of these lies.
Now,
brother, keep it away from my state.
Do you, Batman, do you know what she means by New York has the lowest gun homicide rate of any of the large states? It's such a qualified statistic that I can't even track down what she's talking about.
Yeah, what you're hearing there is pure, unadulterated fucking lies. So, I mean,
Fair enough.
I have never seen a statistic that says anything like what she's saying. And of course, she then qualifies it further by saying, for large states. All right, well, what does that mean exactly?
Don't know.
And also, by the way, she's incorrect about being unable to purchase that firearm.
Oh, I have thought. Yes, I have thoughts. In fact, you used to stream from New York with that rifle in the background. How was such a thing possible?
Now, here's the thing. I did make sure that because I built that rifle, I bought the parts and I put it together myself. I had to purchase the parts to make it compliant in New York. Right. And because I know how...
you had to have this stupid stock and grip and 10-round mag, or did you have like one of those locked mags or whatever it is?
Yes. So I still have a magazine that... basically doesn't work with a mag release. So you have to, in order to make a rifle like that compliant in New York, and you want to have a pistol grip on it and all that jazz, you have to make it such that it no longer has a detachable magazine. So that is what I did.
So you can have a 30, it just can't be detachable. Is that how it works?
No. You
can't have, it has to be 10 and not detachable?
Correct.
Oh, God.
So that is what I did when I built that rifle. And naturally, when I got to a free state, one of the very first things I did was I unfucked it, and now it's wonderful.
Well,
and it really didn't take much. It took, again, first of all, I bought all of the parts necessary to make that, to unfuck the rifle while I was in New York. I just couldn't assemble it in such a way.
Surprised I didn't get you on constructive intent.
Well, fuck them.
So what's that thing
none of the
right
parts
there?
ever got, put together in such a way that they were illegal.
You're going to have to specify, Joshy, what's that thing? There are many odd things on this rifle setup. So what's the thing that captures your interest?
As pretty much the only person who's I'm not really into guns. I just want to know, what am I looking at?
You want to explain Batman? You probably can. You have the experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is, I believe that's a Thordson stock.
Okay.
The idea basically being that because they disallow weapons that have certain features and detachable magazines to exist, those features cannot coexist on a weapon without being classified an assault weapon, which will then render it illegal in places like New York and California. So a company, bless their hearts, called Thordson, put together a stock that technically, according to the letter of the law, you can have a detachable magazine on there, and it is not a pistol grip, but it still allows you to hold the rifle in a way that doesn't completely break your fingers and, not break your fingers. You know what I mean? It's not super uncomfortable. I actually did have to own one of these for my, I have a CZ Scorpion that I purchased in New York. And in order to walk away from the gun store with it in New York, they had to install a Thordson stock on it. And of course I had to pay for that. It's another markup on.
So is it kind of like, it's kind of like handcuffs for a gun?
It's not really handcuffs. It's just basically, it's just
handcuffs restrain you.
To have
this just looks super gay.
Yeah. Now that's the thing. So Thordson's intent was very good, I think, allowing New York and California gun owners to have something that is
I'm not blaming
functional.
them. Yeah, they're doing what they have to.
However, their designs look utterly retarded. All
they
of
have
them.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. I showed you, Matt, the Thordson stock I used to have on my Scorpion.
I remember you were telling me about it, and
and it looked horrible, right? And then
well, it doesn't. These things don't look right on these guns at all. But it did look. I mean, I am also a Scorpion appreciator, a Scorpion enjoyer, and it does not. They just, those things should not be together, but they were, and that state forced it on you. But one thing that was interesting about Kathy Hochul saying you can't get that weapon in New York. I mean, obviously you can. You just have to buy it in a super gay configuration like that. But mechanically, it's the same thing. It still fires the same round at the same rate. And if you have evil intent, unlike Batman, who has none, but if you want to modify the firearm to make it have a higher capacity with the magazine, or you want to put a pistol grip on it or a telescoping stock, it's not as though these pieces of plastic are incredibly difficult to come by. But when Kathy Hochul says these things, it's not legal here. You can't get it here. Kathy, I remember you, like, what was this, 3 years and change ago in the Buffalo shooting, talking about that guy who legally bought his AR in the state of New York and said, wow, this is a super gay configuration. I'm going to equip this with a 30-round mag before I commit my mass shooting and kill 10 people. He put some other stuff on there, and he did. And he got Kathy Hochul, I think she was again on CNN or some similar network at the time, saying, well, we don't know how he bought the magazine. Yes, how could he ever find a plastic shell and a spring and a plastic follower? Who could ever come across such a thing if they needed to? The thing could be 3D printed if you want.
I'm going to point out that Buffalo, New York is actually not very far away from Vermont, which has much laxer gun laws. So, and you can go across state lines and buy a magazine. That's easy, right? You don't, a magazine is not a firearm. So how did he obtain this in New York? 2 hours away from the Vermont state lines. I don't understand this at all.
They're $20 and they're made of plastic. That's how. It is the manufacturing difficulty of a children's toy from China. That's how he obtained this. And
actually, I think Chinese toys can be much more complicated.
They might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, to some other points that Kathy brought up, he had a concealed carry permit in Nevada. That's how he had this gun. That has nothing to do with his AR. And it also has nothing to do with New York. You can get an AR-15 without a concealed carry permit. Also, his concealed carry permit is not recognized in New York. Also, he was open carrying, which even if he had some kind of concealed carry reciprocity, New York would still tell you can't do that. Sorry, it looked like you had a thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's roughly about right. And this is what happens when you let legislators who know dick about guns make laws about guns, right? They're not actually trying to. Well, they're not. First of all, they're not successful because they don't know what they're talking about, right? So even if she believes, oh, you can't get that thing here, okay, obviously untrue. And she doesn't know that because she has no idea what she's talking about, which is a good thing for New Yorkers. If she were more educated, the laws that she would support would probably be more intelligent and more effective at keeping law-abiding hands off of firearms.
These laws precede her, right? She didn't even pass any of these. They just they've been around for forever, but. Then her little bit, if every state had the same laws uniformly, that is not the design of the country. Montana, Nevada, we're not the same as New York. Contrary to her claims, we're not constantly facing murder threats either. We're just fine. We don't need your New York gun laws. And there's no reason. I don't think New York needs New York gun laws, but we definitely don't need them around here. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, but she wants to own you.
Of course.
And how can she do that if you have guns?
She wants to own me like Keith Olbermann owns Tulsi Gabbard. Anyway.
Well, him and his piss tears.
Now, I did look into this a little bit. I asked you about the stats. And as far as I can tell, now this is me trusting the NYPD. Maybe there's tomfoolery with the stat collection. But they are saying that New York City has record low shootings, low murders in recent years. Okay, I'll take that as true. But I look at Kathy Hochul's claim about New York being such a better state for homicides. And I couldn't find gun homicides. I don't know where she got that information. But if we're just looking at homicides generally from the CDC, it's true that New York is kind of in the middle of the pack. It's not. It's maybe lower than higher, I guess. It's on the lower half. But how does that correlate with gun control and gun laws? D.C. is the worst by a lot. Very strict gun laws. Mississippi is the second worst. Pretty free on their gun laws. You got New York down there hanging right around Montana. We don't have gun laws except for what the feds make us have, and we tried to fight that. You got New York right there. You go down to the bottom. Like Wyoming has so few homicides, they're not even on. They don't even count statistically, and there are a lot of guns.
Because Wyoming has no people.
Yeah,
you can't commit homicide in an empty room.
Okay. I guess that's true.
I'm kind of sad that my state is kind of up there.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fairly high.
I blame Memphis.
According to Mark Wahlberg, Tennessee is the patron state of shooting stuff. So.
Yeah, that's right. We like to shoot guns and everything. Just wait until the 4th of July or January 1st.
So very, the correlation here between gun control and homicide rate, very hard to interpret, but okay, whatever you say, Kathy. And then Kathy has more to say. Now, whenever you hear someone describe, like you hear someone from a left-wing perspective describe a news event, and you think, yeah, exactly, that's correct, but then they reach the opposite conclusion and you're baffled by how they got there. That was Kathy Hochul for me here saying, wow, not even an off-duty police officer security guard could stop this. Correct. And my conclusion is that means you should be prepared to protect yourself and others because not even an off-duty police officer could handle this. No disrespect to him. Of course, God bless his family. It's just, I'm sure he did what he could and it didn't work in that situation. So everybody should be prepared for when police or security protection fails and is unable to protect you. Instead, Kathy Hochul's conclusion is, therefore, everyone must disarm.
From what you know, was there sufficient security inside that building?
There was very much security in that building. To have a company hire an off-duty police officer, I don't know how you get more secure than that. And all the systems they had in place and the training they had in place. How you stop someone who walks in intent on murdering the first person they encounter who's a police officer and trying to stop them? That's almost impossible. So for people who are blaming the security system, are looking at the wrong culprit here. Look at the weapon of mass destruction that was used to destroy lives in my city. That's what we have to go after.
Somebody had a nuke?
Yes, a tactical nuke was deployed at the NFL building. You're right.
Somebody got 25 kills.
Somebody else hit a kill streak on that.
How do you get more secure than an off-duty police officer working security? Well, you add guns for responsible civilians. How do you stop someone with an AR-15? Well, 10 guys with handguns, overwhelming force. It is not blaming the security system or that security officer. It's recognizing that more security is better. Yes, security guard, that's great. Yes, armed civilians in case he's overwhelmed or he can't handle it. More chances of putting bad guys down immediately. That's how you get a situation to be more secure, Kathy.
Yeah, it's kind of a cheap shot towards the security guard, too, because imagine just getting surprised by that. You do your normal routine, and all of a sudden somebody pulls a gun and just shoots you. I mean, I know he was walking in there with an AR.
And I don't know how it played out. For all I know, the gunman walked up to the building, and he saw from the side or the back a security guard and thought, well, he's the first to go because I know he's armed, and just took him out cheaply in that way, where there wasn't even an exchange. Definitely could have been that. Yeah. So anyway, any other Kathy Hochul or New York thoughts before we move on?
I'm so glad I left. My God.
That is all the gun talk I can handle.
It's not even that much.
As somebody who lived in New York for 10 years, watching her talk is embarrassing. It's legitimately it made me cringe.
The beaver teeth are hard to look at, I'm sure. I only have to see it in doses, but
well, yeah, I mean it's her physiognomy for sure, but it's also the
content of
just
her
the entitlement necessary for a governor of a state to go, well, now I have to control your states too. No, bridge.
Typical woman grabbing for power. There's nothing new there.
Except Tulsi. She's not the typical
except
one.
Mama Tulsi. All right. Yeah. There we go. See, thank you. Thank you very much.
It is time for the latest Jeffrey Epstein update.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
He touched young people.
I was thinking if I wasn't taking a break, I need an intro, like Hoax Hate for Jeffrey Epstein at this point. I don't know. Maybe this will be, maybe by the time I come back, Pam Bondi will have finally released it. That is my hope.
Maybe.
But yesterday, Trump was talking to reporters, and he was asked about his falling out with Epstein in the mid-2000s, which Trump has talked about recently and over the weekend. And Trump said that Epstein took a bunch of Mar-a-Lago employees away from Trump's business. And reporters asked if any of these stolen employees, as Trump put it, were young women. And Trump said, yeah, they were. And Trump said one of them was the most famous Epstein accuser, Virginia Giuffre. Now, we already knew from Virginia herself that she worked at Mar-a-Lago as a teenager. And we knew that she met Ghislaine Maxwell there. And Ghislaine Maxwell then allegedly groomed and trafficked Virginia Giuffre to the island. And Virginia Giuffre worked in the spa at Mar-a-Lago. Her dad was a maintenance worker. Of course, Virginia Giuffre killed herself in April, and or if you believe that, like Jeffrey Epstein, she did not kill herself, or whatever you might believe. I actually do, based on what I read about Virginia Giuffre, it seems likely that she in fact did, because she has said, and she said a lot of kooky things that don't really add up in a lot of cases. Now, if you went to Epstein Island and you were the company at Epstein Island, I understand how you might end up becoming a little kooky. So it's not a shot at her. It's just it's probably what happens to you as a consequence of what she was put through. But this is the first time that Trump has said that Epstein and Maxwell stole Virginia Giuffre from him at Mar-a-Lago.
The president on Air Force One saying Epstein, quote, stole Virginia Roberts Giuffre from his Mar-a-Lago club years ago. One of Epstein's highest profile accusers, Giuffre worked as a locker room attendant there in the late 90s.
He stole her
And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
The president's comments are the most extensive yet about what he's cast as a dispute with Epstein.
We took people that worked for me, and I told him don't do it anymore, and he did it. And I said, stay the hell out of here.
President Trump was asked if any of the workers Epstein took were young women.
And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were. Yes.
Yeah.
What did they do?
In the spa.
Jobs in the spa.
Yeah, people that work in the spa.
Just last week, the White House said the president kicked Epstein out of his club for being a creep.
Now, I know what Trump means, and I'm sure we all do.
Okay.
He means that Giuffre and other employees were attracted away from Mar-a-Lago with employment offers or some other incentive from Epstein elsewhere. You know, we'll pay you more, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. In this context, though, of what was allegedly sex slavery or something close to that, stolen from me is language that can very easily be misunderstood. But
I don't think he cares anymore about, making those little dialectical distinguishments, or if that's a word. I mean, because no matter what he says, they're going to try and spin it against him. So who cares?
Yeah.
Just speak freely.
Yeah, who just cares at this point? Plus, he's also old and set in his way. So a lot of old guys like him would just be saying whatever's on their mind.
Now, as far as the timeline, this taking of Virginia Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago, that happened in 2000. Trump had interactions with Epstein and Maxwell until about 2007, and then Epstein was banned from Mar-a-Lago for hitting on the teenage daughter of another club member, is the story. So not that this means that's a lie or something, but it appears to have been the claim that, like, oh, he stole my employees in Virginia Giuffre, so I kicked him out of here, could have been a combination of factors over many years. And I'm sure the way their association or their relationship fell apart probably was due to a combination of factors. But it wasn't as though, like, Virginia Giuffre was taken and Epstein was banned from Mar-a-Lago the next day. It took something like 7 years for that to happen. So, but
yeah, I mean, I was under the impression that this was all sort of common knowledge already.
The fact that she came from Mar-a-Lago is known, but this claim from Trump that she was taken or stolen, and that was a huge wedge in their relationship, that's new. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, any other Epstein thoughts before we move on?
I just want him to release the files. That's it.
Well, good luck. If you're good friends with Tulsi,
they'd be willing to release to you the ash of what remains of them.
Yeah.
Have Aloha Mama work on it for you. She has connections.
All right.
Did you guys see the Sydney Sweeney ad? We're going to get into it a little bit.
Yes, I did. I actually saw that on Sky News.
Okay. The ridiculous controversy of the week is, of course, this American Eagle Sydney Sweeney ad. The premise of the ad is Sydney Sweeney has great genes, as in pants. Look at those awesome genes. However, it's a pun for genes, as in genetics. And you can't say that a white, blonde, blue-eyed woman has good genetics because that's eugenics and that's Nazism. That's racist dog whistle stuff. Although I saw some funny posts this week. It actually is a racist dog whistle because it got all the anti-white racists to come out and identify themselves. If you're so angry that an American company would use a white blonde woman to promote its product, you might be an anti-white racist. And I think we saw plenty of that throughout the week. But this actually
even called American Eagle.
But all of this is not just according to the typical deranged blue sky accounts you'd expect or the usual TikTok freakouts.
Who are also ugly as shit, by the way, because I've seen how some of them look.
Where's the hot chick that's mad about Sydney Sweeney? I'll take your point.
Yeah.
But this is like the claim that this is Nazi adjacent is actually on mainstream American morning news. Here's ABC Good Morning America reporting on it earlier this week.
We begin with the backlash over a new ad campaign featuring actress Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, the ads are for American Eagle, and the tagline is, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Now, in one ad, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed actress talks about genes as in DNA being passed down from her parents.
The play on words is being compared to Nazi propaganda with racial undertones.
The pun, good genes, activates troubling historical associations for this country. The American eugenics movement in its prime between like 1900 and 1940 weaponized the idea of good genes just to justify white supremacism.
Despite that backlash, American Eagle stock has been soaring.
Kyle Hitler, baby.
So they will be totally fine with shutting down Planned Parenthood then, right?
Because of the eugenics origin?
Yes.
No, of course
Wanting
not.
to wipe out people of my skin color.
Planned Parenthood
Since they're all against it.
is their God substitute. But what a juxtaposition there. You got deranged professor lady saying, oh, this is terrible. This is Nazi adjacent stuff. And then the closing note. And actually, the company stock is soaring. Well, yeah.
Of course. The
professor that you are bringing on as a supposed expert in the matter might be wrong about everything. Good indicator there. I bring this up. This has been talked to death. I really just want to show what's coming next, because the Nazi genes campaign was so successful for American Eagle with their stock soaring and their sales soaring. TV and movie studios have taken notice, and they want to capitalize on the success. And so, of course, Sydney Sweeney's phone, or her agent's phone, ringing off the hook. These are upcoming productions, courtesy of Jarvis on X. Coming next year, Sydney Sweeney is elite race car driver Elizabeth Fastrubber. But can she win the season title and become Grand Master Champion? It is Master Race.
I like that. That's good.
Now,
that's good.
Batman, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. Are you comfortable reading some of these movie and TV teasers in your famed movie review voice?
Yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Can you read this one?
With the question in there?
Yes. It's part. Read the whole thing. It's part of the bit.
Excuse me, miss, but I couldn't help noticing that you have absolutely massive milkers.
That's disgusting.
Yes, it is. With that one cheesy pickup line, Hank Henderson landed the girl of his dreams. But what will it take to keep her? Find out this winter on ABC's new drama, 14 Words.
Now, I counted it. It's 14 words. Count them all out. They're all there. Okay.
Really?
That's great.
I got a few more. Go ahead.
Audrey Hiller, a young woman injured in war, returns home in order to fight new domestic enemies, not to mention her own inner demons. Next spring in My Struggle.
Kyle Hitler, baby.
Okay. Next.
Sydney Sweeney is a small-town girl who loves her mom, her boyfriend, and her whole colorful community. But one thing she doesn't much like: immigrants. Next summer's big hit, You Have to Go Back.
Jarvis said, yeah, that one, we lost a little subtlety on that. So let's try to get back into form here. So last one.
Oh, what is that name? I can barely see it.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. Here, okay. Sydney Sweeney plays
Fraulein Elke Rasse.
Yeah.
All right. Needs to pop back on so that I can see it. Right now, it's on the screen's on Joshy Boy.
It is?
Well, what happened? Try if I speak up, does it change it? Or you should be able to highlight it. Okay.
All right. Sydney Sweeney plays Fraulein Elke Rasse, a young woman who wishes Hitler would have won the war in next year's most anticipated film, I Wish Hitler Would Have Won the War.
Here we go.
I'm going to
great.
I'm going to see
I need
that
to find this guy's account.
Oh, Jarvis is he's a great follow. Now there's one honorable community submission because people were just replying with other great ones. Sydney Sweeney as the White Power Ranger in a Power Ranger reboot. I will watch that for sure.
I will watch that too.
That's all the funnier given the races of the various colored Power Rangers in the original.
Well, wasn't it the Black Ranger was black?
Ranger
and the
was
yellow
black dude. The Yellow Ranger was a Vietnamese chick. The Pink Ranger was just like your standard white chick, right? It was perfect. They had it all lined up.
Well, I hope Sydney Sweeney leans into this so thoroughly that she actually hires Shiloh Hendricks as her agent.
Fuck you, nigger.
That's the only way this could possibly get better. As far as I've seen, Sydney Sweeney not addressed the controversy publicly, which is probably smart. Just sit back and cash checks, it sounds like, is her plan, and who could blame her? It seems to be working out for her and the company. So, all right. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we get into calls here?
Well, I do like the White Power Ranger. I would see that.
You're going to go see it? All right. We'll watch it if it comes out. But let's get into the Discord server, and I got to unmute myself. Let's talk to Zero Snark 30 is up first. Mr. Snark 30, are you there?
Oh, hi there. I was actually watching a bit of the stream, and I think the stream was so far ahead, I was hearing two voices. But hey, I'm doing okay.
What's on your mind?
I was just thinking of the of that Sig Sauer story recently. I hear that you brought that up on Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't. Tell me if you already brought this up, but the way I heard the story, there was this airman who took his 320 and slammed it on a table, which set it off and hit himself in the chest.
I had not heard a specific claim about how it happened. I only saw that investigators were saying, we're not telling you until an investigation is complete. So that version of the story is news to me, but it could be true. I don't know.
That's what I heard. That's how Brandon Herrera. Sorry, what? Sorry.
No, I just heard that airman got killed. I don't know how.
Yeah, apparently this is how Brandon Herrera covered it. And he just dropped this video on his gun meme review like 5 hours ago, so it's very recent.
Okay.
Maybe this is just new details breaking.
Okay.
But he took his sidearm and he set it down on a table in front of him so roughly, apparently, that it set off the round in the chamber without the trigger being pulled.
How did he set it down on the table with it ended up aimed at him?
That's exactly my second point, my second question. The first one is, like, how do you have to slam something while it's still in your hand so much that it sets the round off? And two, why is it pointing at you? There are rules of gun safety that if they were followed, it doesn't matter if that thing is continuously, constantly firing out a lightsaber. Like, that thing will not kill you. If it keeps firing untouched, then yeah, it's a piece of crap and they should face some lawsuits maybe. But if he had followed the basic rules of safety, then he would not have been injured and or killed. Not to be too poor of taste, but when I hear the word airman, that does make sense.
Yes. Well, this is why it wound up in one of his gun meme reviews. So...
Does he? Did he explain where he got the information? I assume he just maybe has a source who's close to that, or does he say how he knows?
I hadn't delved as deep into that video yet to see if he mentions his source. So who knows? Grain of salt. But either way, there is no way for a gun to kill you if you follow the 4 main rules of gun safety. Mind if I go down them real quick for your audience?
Yeah, sure. If people, it's always important to remember them.
Right.
In fact, can I try to pass the quiz? I'll probably. Can I put myself on the spot?
Go for it.
I'm gonna immediately fail.
Okay. Never point at anything you don't intend to destroy, or always point in a safe direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Finger off the trigger. Know what's beyond your target.
Yes.
I'm missing one. I'm blanking on one.
I believe the last one would count as. Oh, go for it, Batman.
It's keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Never point the weapon at anything you're unwilling to destroy. Treat every weapon as if it's loaded, even if you know it's not, and be aware of your target and what's behind it.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. There you go. So yeah, the last one was to treat it like it's loaded, even if it isn't. There's that really solid movie Wind River with Jeremy Renner. There's a great moment where it's really good. From the guy that wrote Sicario, I think, and also Hell or High Water, another solid movie. But there's a great moment where he goes to pick up his son to go and work on the ranch for a bit, and his son like has his rifle, and he accidentally flags someone in the house, and he stops him and says, "Hey, the gun's always loaded, even if it ain't." Like, yeah, that's one of the rules. Good work. There you go. You can tell he handles guns for a living. The character does. He played the character well.
Listen
I
up,
just know the point
Alec
to shoot.
Baldwin.
Literally, yes. It does not matter if the gun goes off without your finger on the trigger. You follow the rules of gun safety.
Yeah.
Well, the beauty of the rules of gun safety is that you have to break more than one in order for something catastrophic to happen. If you break one, you're still good in almost every case, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're following all of the others, but you break one, you're still safe. You have to break more than one in order for something to go wrong.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Joshy, what are the 4 rules of sword safety? I don't know those.
Always stab the man in front of you. Always stab your allies in the back, and always slit the throat of your target.
Bingo.
And what's the 4th?
Stick him with the pointy end.
Yeah, always sharpen and clean your sword afterwards.
Okay. Very good. All right. Thank you, Mr. Zero Snark. Appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Okay. Turles is up next. Turles, are you there? Turles.
Hey there, guys.
There we go. What's up?
There we go.
But I was able to get in here one last time before your big break.
Lucky you. What do you got for us?
Yeah, well, as your resident bookmonger,
Oh, that's right.
I was going to do another. Yeah, I was going to do another C.S. Lewis, but in light of some conversations I've been having over on X, thought I would actually talk about some Hayek. Have you guys read The Road to Serfdom?
I'm not. No,
I have not.
You haven't? Nobody? Ah, jeez. Well,
Look, man, I'm illiterate,
all three of you need
okay?
to get on that.
They don't allow the Kanigas to read.
No, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. So,
Well,
yeah,
I can't
well,
read, Mesa.
Well, F.A. Hayek, you may have heard of. You know, he's the Austrian economist, and he of course was the anti-collectivist, pro-autonomy economist. You know, who was kind of contrasted with Keynes, who of course is more of a let's use the state to spend tons of money all the time kind of guy. But The Road to Serfdom is actually mostly about, it's mostly an anti-collectivist book. It talks about socialism, and in particular, you know, the book was published in 1944, so his biggest target for socialism is actually Nazi Germany. He kind of mentions the Soviets as well, but because of the wartime conditions and all of that, it was easier to talk about the socialist collectivism of Nazi Germany instead. So it's a really interesting read because it's not a perspective you will hear as much these days. People like to insist that there's a lot of daylight between the Soviets and the Nazis, but functionally, practically speaking, they're closely aligned, and in how they work.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That sounds interesting. I'll have to look into that.
One more time before we let you go, author and book.
That is F.A. Hayek, The Road to Serfdom.
All right.
Please give it a read.
Well, thank you for your book recommendations and reviews, as always. Appreciate your contribution to the show. Have a great night.
You should compile a list of books recommended.
Yeah, maybe we need
I've got a few.
We'll have to make a formal list of it somewhere, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Turles.
Sure thing. See you.
Okay, last call is going to go to Fwen. Fwen, are you there?
Yeah. Hey there.
Hey.
It's like,
how's it going?
Whatever your audio setup is pristine. Every time you speak up, I'm like, that guy's voice sounds awesome.
That's funny. It's just a headset with a mic attached to it.
Whatever it is.
$30 gaming headset.
That's the best $30 mic I've ever heard.
Yeah, maybe we can get Matt number 2 one.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I'll end it. The Matt 2 hate there. It's all in jest, at least for me.
We had a Matt hate call last week too, Or was that you?
I know.
Was that also
No,
you?
that
Okay.
was. I think that was Skull. That was Skulldugger. I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I believe so.
Jeez,
All right.
man.
I don't know. I don't. There. I guess no. I was funny enough. I was going to introduce the call by saying no one wants to talk about economics really, and of course the call before me is giving a brief introduction to Hayek. But yeah, I just wanted to call attention to these deals that are getting done under Trump.
Mhm.
These trade deals are nuts, and it's really interesting because of the friends I have who are definitely very Trump skeptical. As soon as they would talk about tariffs, they would say like, "All right, I hope you're ready for a recession." And even though I'm not willing to grant that any contracting in the economy is not worth the trade-offs of getting trade like deals back in order, reshoring some manufacturing and these kind of things, it's great to see like there was barely any discomfort. I mean, I'm sure people are obviously worse off than me, but there wasn't that much discomfort before prices came down. I remember during the bird flu, like egg, chicken massacre, my buddy was like, "Oh, thanks Trump, all the expensive eggs." And now it's like everything, his prices down and these trade deals getting done. So
And
it's pretty
wasn't the
good I
chicken
told you so
massacre
example.
The chicken
wasn't
thing
the
was
chicken
under
massacre
Biden.
done under Biden?
Yeah, that was under Biden's administration.
So I know that did happen, but usually every time there's waves of this stuff, they kill chickens, and there was definitely one under Trump, but I don't think it was something that he had oversight. I mean, maybe he literally did, like being the executive, but if you look at examples or like counts of how many roles he's filled or yet to fill, or he's nominated, but they're still going through approval process, there's a lot of empty roles and holdovers from the previous administration.
I bought a dozen eggs at the grocery store yesterday, and I just kind of forgot about it. And I buy eggs all the time. I guess I just don't go to the store and think. I only had to buy a few items, so I don't really think about the price of that item in that way. And it was like $4.
Wait, that's not so bad.
Yeah, I remember it was around here. It got as high as like $7 for a dozen. So it's come down by like, I don't know, 40, almost 50%.
Yeah, it was
in the
like
last
$7
Oh yeah, yeah, like at the height in maybe January, February, sometime around there.
Yeah. So it just so happened that I knew somebody who had a farm while I was there. So instead of going to the store and buying eggs, I was buying eggs from her for a fraction of the price. And, she had like 30 chickens or something like that. So it was perfect for me. So I didn't suffer from the egg problem, but everything else for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
What? Getting in a last thought, if I could,
Go ahead.
which I was just reminded about the email that you got about usury. And it was very funny to hear you almost like slip into, and this is not like too serious of a criticism, but it sounded like you just slipped back into well, if it's a consensual exchange, like back to the libertarian, like kind of like, if you're willing to take a loan out at this price, then, which would be the same thing of like, well, obviously you wouldn't sanction, hey, pay me money and I'll let you eat a piece of my leg, like cannibalism, or, like there are certainly things that you would look to
I mean, there are things that
exchange.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to say that an interest rate is comparable to eating a person in that way. I mean,
well,
we're talking about financial terms.
Last comment would just be that Dante in the Divine Comedy did put sodomites and usurers in the seventh circle of hell because they take something natural that is naturally life-giving, and they try to make something sterile into something that's life-giving. So in the same way that rubbing two coins together shouldn't produce more, like not taking a legitimate risk and like loaning at high interest rates would be considered like rent seeking, that you're not taking an actual risk, mostly because you have legal recourse against those that are taking out the credit from you. And then obviously sodomy is taking something that would naturally be life-giving and making it sterile.
I'm not sure I agree with those analogies, but in the interest of time, we probably have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll talk about this.
Dante. Maybe you should read
the
Divine Comedy.
We can talk about it on another call,
August
though.
Break.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
should
But,
you should just ask Arthur Morgan. Usury gives you tuberculosis.
Is that
No,
what happened in
literally.
the story? I played the game,
Yeah.
so
That's the moral of the story.
all right.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Fwen. Have a good night.
Have a good
Real
one.
quickly, Skulldugger asked if he can get in tonight since he's there and since your last stream.
Well, since he's hanging out.
Yeah.
All
You
right,
owe me.
Skulldugger,
Will get
I'll bend the
everywhere.
rules for you. I'll give you a call. What do you got for us?
What's up, man?
What up,
I'll
bro?
make this one a little bit lighter tone than some of my previous calls, since I think the last 2 weeks we've done Epstein stuff. I'm actually going to hit on the Sydney Sweeney non-traversy.
You're hitting on Sydney Sweeney? Yeah, you and
I would
every
love
other
to be
guy.
hitting on Sydney Sweeney. The left really needs to stop calling awesome things Nazi. They are doing more recruitment for Nazism than has been done since the 1930s.
I mean, they already
Like-
started recruiting people from our neighborhood, the Hood Reich.
And listen,
never-
her name is
never
Sydney
has
Sweeney.
Nazism looked so good.
And listen, her name is Sydney Sweeney. Her initials are SS.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Like, if this ad is Nazi and the Trump administration is Nazi, I don't know if Nazi is such a slur anymore. It's kind of
It's
starting to
lost all
sound
its
a
meaning.
little awesome.
Yeah, now those toothbrush mustaches need to come back.
Yeah, it just devoids it of all meaning. They call everything they don't like Nazism, white supremacy, white power, and all this other stuff. And you have to wonder why. And like I said before, if you saw, I was watching this on Sky News Australia when this whole thing came up, and some of the people that were complaining about this, like I said, we're typical ugly as shit feminists.
Yeah, the people who have the time to make a TikTok video about this probably don't have a lot of more pressing matters to attend to.
These are people who will call Enrique Tarrio a white supremacist, okay? Nothing about them makes
Well,
sense.
there was that whole article about multicultural white supremacism from Vice or somewhere else back in the kind of the height of the Proud Boys when they were fighting Antifa in Portland every week. So
Yeah,
they've
I mean,
crossed
I
that
remember.
line already, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, any final thought from you, Skulldugger?
No, that's pretty much all I had.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in and have a great night.
Yeah, enjoy your month off, man. You have really earned it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Have a good night.
Really have.
Yes.
Well, thanks, guys. I have some thoughts in closing about the break that I'll get to in a little bit, so I'll save my thoughts for then. But appreciate the callers. Thank you guys tonight. And we also have email questions. And as a reminder, if you'd like to send an email for consideration on the stream, of course, the stream will be off for the next month, but I can still grab some emails when we get back, so you can send them throughout the month of August. But mattchristiansenmedia.com/contact, that's the contacts page of my website. Look for the MC Live questions box. Moving into those questions, we'll start with Small Pharma. Since you're relatively new to religious commitment, I'd love to hear your take on the Epicurean paradox or theodicy. Thank you, sir. Well, the Epicurean paradox is a basic logical challenge to the existence of God as described, that he is simultaneously all-powerful, all-good, and all-knowing, and yet evil and bad things exist. So how could all of these things be true? Either God doesn't know about evil and bad things, so he's not all-knowing, or he's okay with them, he allows them to continue, so he's not all-powerful, he can't stop them. Let me rephrase that. He's okay with them, so he's not all good. He must be partly evil himself if he allows these evil things. Or he can't stop the evil. He knows about it, he can see it, but he's not capable of stopping it, so he's not actually all powerful. Now, for me...
What?
Sorry, go on.
What? Did you have thoughts, or did I state something?
I was going to say this is supposed to be like a challenge to the existence of God, but I don't see how it challenges the existence of God. And again, I'm the one guy here who is not, overtly Christian, but I don't see how it disproves it, because you can't have good without evil.
Yeah, and that's kind of those are sort of my thoughts. And I think even from the I don't know a lot about what is he, Greek? Yeah, Greek philosopher Epicurus. I don't even know if I'm saying his name correctly, but the guy who thought this up, according to the Wikipedia summary, he himself was not even atheist. It's not about like disproving God. I think it's more about disproving God as presented. Like he can't possibly have all these traits. So to try to give it the best case that I can, I think that's what they would say. But yeah, what you're saying, Batman, is generally my perspective. So for me, God gave us free will, and that is free will to recognize good and evil, to make the choice to follow him, try to be like him, even though we'll never be like God, but we try to get as close as we can be to that sort of perfection. So evil exists. These things are simultaneously true, is what I'm getting at. Evil exists. God is all good. God knows about it, and God could stop it. Well, how is he good if he could stop it, but he doesn't? Well, evil is a necessary component of our human purpose, and our human purpose, more broadly, is good. We aspire to be like God through moral choices and making wise moral distinctions and pursuing a good life according to God's purpose. And
I would
hold on, I'll get to you. I'm only halfway through.
Okay.
To make moral choices requires exactly that. It requires choice. If we all lived in a world where there was no moral complexity to navigate, we didn't have choices to make, right and wrong, there are no good things, there are no evil or bad things. Is there really morality? There are just things, and we're just going through it as we were predestined to. The good that exists in evil, if that's not a paradox itself, the good that comes from the existence of evil is developing our ability to recognize it and to accept the challenge of defeating it and pursuing God despite it. In that sense, bad, immoral things still serve a purpose toward a greater good. So that's how I think about that problem. But I invite we'll go Joshy since Batman had a thought earlier.
So the whole thing you said that we strive to be more like God, right? For those of us who are not Christian, they strive to be more like a God, right? So where evil comes from is not just from the outside influences such as the demons and everything. It's kind of our own desires to be God ourselves, right? So if you're talking about that from a Christian standpoint, I can agree with you. If you're talking about it from a non-Christian standpoint, I have to disagree with you. There are too many people in this world who want to be God, right, rather than strive toward God. Does that make sense?
and I get the distinction you're making. I'm not saying a God that you invent. I'm saying the one that is real and gave that created the objective framework of the world. So it's an objective standard above you, not some standard that you set yourself. Yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm getting at. For the people who either reject God or don't believe in God, they want themselves to be masters of their own life. So they themselves are a God in a type.
Yeah. And I don't mean people trying to become a God. I mean people pursuing God as a model for us. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Batman, do you have any other thoughts on that?
I think I kind of made my point already, and I'm in agreement with you there. The specifically the concept that God himself must be evil because he permits other people to make evil choices, because he permits people to make evil choices, he allows evil to exist in the world. I don't. That doesn't make any sense to me either. So I feel like the premise is flawed, if that makes any sense. So if two people down the road from you get into a fight, are you obligated to break them up? Like, it would be the right thing to do, but no, you're not obligated to sacrifice your life to stop, unrelated occurrences from happening. And while I realize that two random strangers and your relationship with God are not exactly the same thing, you can create a system that can be used incorrectly, but that doesn't make you evil as the creator of that system. Right? Is that coming across correctly?
Yeah,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Well, even if I wanted to say you have a moral obligation to intervene in immorality, I still don't think that you are as morally culpable for that immorality as the person committing the immorality themselves. So
And plus, there's just a lot of context behind it. Like, why are they fighting, right?
You don't know. I mean,
true.
Yeah.
Circumstances for.
Hush.
I guess I'm trying to. Is there in every fight there has to be a bad guy, doesn't there? I mean, there's like mutual combat or consensual fighting, I suppose, but even that is not necessarily good.
I wouldn't say necessarily. Sometimes a fight can happen due to a misunderstanding.
Yeah. Okay. It's not like intentional bad guy. It's accidental. It's more something, maybe a crime of negligence or recklessness rather than intent.
Yeah.
Or some people are just freaking crazy.
Some people
Maybe
just
they
like to
didn't
fight
mean
too.
to do evil, but
I guess.
they're nuts.
Well, I guess I should. What is boxing? What is UFC? Who's the bad guy?
Yeah.
No,
Some people just like to fight as well. It's like a thing they like to do.
Thank you to Small Pharma. Next up is Yan Kin Madong. Yang Kin Madong.
Got him! Got him!
He don't know what he talk about.
It's like the Chinese names from the plane crash. Wee too low, holy shit, bing, ding bang ow, holy
fuck,
fook. Yeah. Do you think that there is a chance, that there is a case to be made that white women are the most genuinely hated demographic in America?
Bingo.
The far left often trashes so-called white feminism and paints them as unsympathetic to the plight of minority women. Meanwhile, I've heard people on the right argue white women are actually even more woke than women of color and trash them as being the real driving force behind social justice garbage. Now, Joshy, I can tell you have some thoughts, so I'll try to be quick here. But women hate each other overall. Okay. But I think white women even hate themselves because white women, I think in particular, have this suicidal empathy that invite their societies to be taken over. Now, is that inherent to their race or is it a product of certain, is it socioeconomic factors? Whatever it is, I think there's a particular suicidal empathy with white women, just my gut level analysis of it. But the problem is not the nature of women necessarily, whether you're talking white women specifically or women in general. It's the misattribution or the misassignment of that nature, or of that nature of theirs. They are nurturers by nature. They are caregivers. That's great. We need that to build families. But they also have an inherent need to be protected and to be provided for, and that's also good. It's so they can be good mothers and good caregivers. But what we've seen happen is those that nature misapplied. They look for those things. They look for a husband in government, for example. They think that their nurture nature that should be applied to a family is instead to be applied to society more broadly or something like that. None of those inclinations are for those purposes. So none of it is about hating women, even from the right-wing perspective, I think necessarily. It's understanding that their purpose or their nature has been misaligned or misassigned in the same way that I am not a nurturer by nature. God, I'm getting these words confused. I am not a nurturing guy. Like if my sons fall down, scrape their knees or something, they're going to mom for a reason, probably because I'm going to laugh at them and tell them to toughen up.
Yeah.
But even if they were seriously hurt and I had to comfort them, like that ain't me, man. You're going to mom for a reason. That mom nature, that mom energy is needed. It's just and now it's like it is taken control of, or it's at least highly influential in government power centers, and that misapplication is having massive consequences. So that's what's going on with white chicks, and we got to put them back in their place. It's like Gatorade says, "Let her cook." Get them back in the kitchen. Let her clean too. Did you guys see the Gatorade?
No,
you didn't see that.
And let her sell her goddamn bathwater.
Yeah, Gatorade
That's
put
a
out
pretty white chick thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess is that yeah.
I might have seen
Sydney
that,
Sweeney did that.
Did she actually? Oh, she had the soap promo, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sydney Sweeney respect dropped a little bit based on that. But anyway, okay. Sorry to go long. Joshy, what were your thoughts?
No, you're good. But it says, do you think there's a case to be made that white women are they should be by this case. If you look at any major thing that's going on, like take the whole Sydney Sweeney thing, who's complaining about it the most? White women are. And it's not, I wouldn't say just white women in general. You got to be specific. It's a liberal white women or progressive white women. Ain't no conservative woman complaining about this. Every time there's something happening. Like for example, that screaming white lady that we saw taking when ICE was taking away that immigrant, right? Or if you've seen any TikTok video of women, there's been some black women in there too. Just screaming. They're always in their car, screaming at their phone, saying, "I hate this country. I want to get out of here." Or it's so oppressive towards us. It's typically liberal white women who are doing this, right? And it's typically those who are being showcased in things like Fox News or Sky News or this show or whatever, right? I will say for black women, they hate us black men for some reason.
More than white chicks?
More than I would say yes. More more than white chicks. Do you want to know why they hate us more than white chicks? Right? Because if they actually hated
Because
white
you
chicks,
keep
they
putting
wouldn't.
kids in them and then not staying around.
No, let me tell you.
Bingo.
I'm gonna let me. Batman is half correct, but I'm also gonna give the other side. I'm trying to. Okay, don't crucify me, Raj. Okay, in Minecraft.
The other
Some
side
of these
is
are
how long would you be able to survive at Waffle House?
Yeah.
I don't think very long.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Some of these black women are some real hoes, though. Like I'm serious. I'm talking about bad attitude, shower cap wearing out in public, don't care for themselves, screaming at their kids. Some of these women, some of these black men are worse off. But the reason why they hate us black men more than white women, I don't know why, but they try to look like white women. Straighten their hair, some of them do their nails. They try to look as close to white women as possible.
Although many
while
have a
still playing.
unique aesthetic, I would say.
Look, man, a unique aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But
nails, front ass,
a front ass. Yeah.
There's two, but here's the thing. I had a buddy of mine who was like, "There's only two body types most black people got. You got lean or tone like me, or Dank Demoss." Right? What is that her name? Dank Demoss?
I don't.
Okay, I got that right.
Yeah, it's something.
Right?
Her real name's
There's
something else, but yeah.
There's no in between. You're either fit or you're fat.
There's no just like kind of chubby black guy or black chick. You're either fit or horrendously obese.
Well, no,
like
some guys
you're
are just
either doing really well or you're shitting a hole through the bed.
Yeah. Some of them kind of do in that range in between.
All right, so your vote is no, that black chicks actually hate black guys more than white chicks, just to summarize.
Yes.
Batman, you have thoughts on this? Are white women the most hated demographic of all?
I would say if we're talking about other demographics, then yes. I think they are the most hated of all, because you can find someone of any other demographic and they will have a reason to shit on white women,
including white women themselves.
Will have a perceived reason.
Yeah.
To what's that?
Including white women themselves.
Yes.
Ask white women why they hate white women. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think they are followed very closely by white men at this point. Particularly among liberals. Right?
Yeah.
Just if you can blame the white man for something, then remember when they say white man, they're talking about white people, so women are included.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jan Kin, and all the best in Beijing or wherever you may be. The Chief Justice, do you think it's accurate to say that most people get their political views from their own anecdotal personal experiences above all else? I do not think so.
No.
I think almost everyone has thought leaders that they reference to form their opinions. And for some, that's politicians. Yeah. For some, that's cable news. For some, that might be YouTube podcasts. And that's not a bad thing.
Or for a lot of people, I think it's their parents.
That too. Yeah. And most of us don't have time to sit and think about news and politics in this way for good reason. You got stuff going on. But to illustrate an example of how people will side with their thought leaders over real world experience, I just look at COVID. Okay. Most people, I think, got their views on COVID from some sort of thought leader, not from personal experience. Very few people had an actually traumatic COVID personal experience. Like you almost died or your family member died. Many still, most people just got it and it was like, okay, I was sick for a little bit and that was it. My family was sick for a little bit and that was it. You didn't have a traumatic personal experience yet. Many people still lived in fear. They still demanded society be undone in response to this virus. And that's because they got their opinions from some sort of thought leader telling them this stuff rather than their own experiences. Politicians, news, public figures, those sorts of people. But do you guys agree or disagree with that proposition?
You want to go first, Batman?
I definitely think that in my particular case, my first political thought leaders were my parents, for sure. Because I mean, I would listen to their view on the world while they were listening to the news or, something like that. They were using that opportunity to also teach me things about, what life, while I was a child, what life was, what to expect from life when more responsibilities were foisted upon me, which was great. I thought, using the news to sort of, you listen to it in the car or something, and then when something comes up and that is particularly interesting or of significant enough impact on our collective lives that it warrants discussion, then you bring it up and stuff like that, which is sort of why I think I wound up in this sort of bizarre libertarian camp when I got to college, rather than, in spite of the fact that I grew up in California. So I mean, I grew up in California. I was pushed through the public school system and then right into a highly liberal college. So I should be a stark raving lunatic, but I wasn't, because my parents sort of primed me to think for myself before I got into an institution that absolutely did not have my best interest at heart.
Well, what do you say, Joshy?
For me, it was kind of the opposite. My parents focused more on the religious aspect rather than the political. They never talked things like politics to me or my siblings when we were growing up. They kind of kept that between them, kind of let kids be kids or whatever. My father was more concerned about making sure that I have Christian beliefs, Christian ethics, and everything, rather than, oh, do this because the Democrats said so, do this because the Republicans said so. So my politics, strangely enough, my politics came from video games. Me and Batman was talking about this earlier about Gamergate, right?
It's not that crazy. You are not alone in that. That whole thing really formed. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that whole event was massively formative for an entire generation of young men.
Yeah,
and that's for your show.
I mean, indirectly, but yeah, I mean, it's related.
But
well,
that's how
if I hadn't
knew...
gotten in, sorry, go on.
No, that's how I knew I was kind of more on the conservative right, due to the fact that the anti-gamers in this case. I mean, I was kind of sympathetic to both sides, but the anti-gamers like Anita Sarkeesian, I knew was full of shit because I played enough video games to know she was lying, right? Then it says, oh, the video games is just for men and only white men and everything. So first of all, I know plenty of niggas who played these types of video games, like fighting games and everything. And if if anybody found a girl who plays video games, we'll be lining up to try to say, hey, let's play this game. Let's play this game. But that's how my politics started. And then Trump's first campaign kind of solidified my me being on the right.
Well, you knew Anita Sarkeesian was full of shit. Do you remember her whole take on that Hitman Absolution game?
Yes.
Which was a piece of shit game. But the wonderful thing about it was they're showing in her video on that, they're showing this overlay of of Agent 47 brutally murdering a bunch of hoes and stuffing their corpses in a box or some shit, right? And she's going, the player is encouraged to view these female bodies as mere bodies and do also. Meanwhile, on the screen, they actually show the player being actively penalized for.
Yeah. I mean, it's you can't make this shit up, man. I mean, but other influences that I've kind of had of people like Andrew Wilson or Kevin Samuels that kind of helped me shape these things. That's why I say black women really hate black men. Kevin Samuels kind of pointed that out just by asking a lot of questions. So I guess you can say my politics came from the internet at this point.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of that sounds like a combination of maybe personal experience through your parents, I guess, even though your parents are a thought leader. But yeah, I mean, you had internet thought leaders in that way too. And
yeah.
I think things would be a lot better if people started with the sort of moral core that you're talking about. the way to properly interpret day-to-day news and events and politics is through a solid moral core. So if your parents are setting that up in you first rather than starting with the day-to-day news and working from there, I think that's obviously the way to raise kids right. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Chief Justice. Moderate white dude. What is your response to the argument that ICE being abolished would not reduce our ability to enforce immigration laws, given we have Customs and Border Patrol, and that ICE was created relatively recently in March of 2003? I guess I don't think it has to be ICE, but we do need immigration and border enforcement at levels significantly higher than we've had in recent years. I don't really care what agency does it, as long as there is a federal agency that is that has full resources and has the ability to secure the border and deport the people who violated our border. You can call it whatever you want beyond that, or put it under whatever department you want. But I think if we abolished ICE today and didn't merge it into another agency, or we took those agents off the force and just didn't replace them or put them under something else, that absolutely would impact enforcement negatively, I think. And we could talk about what was necessary in 2003. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, so this is speculation on my part. But I'm going to guess that the border and deportation needs today are significantly higher than they were in 2003 when ICE was established. So I'm not married to the concept of ICE. It's just we got a border to secure and people to deport. So someone's got to do that. We can call them whatever we want.
Yeah, and I think once all the deportations and stuff, if it ever happens, is complete, then ICE will be disbanded. I say that with absolute foolishness, but I think these guys were created out of necessity.
There's nothing ever so permanent as a temporary government program.
I know.
Was ICE supposed to be temporary? I don't know about its origins. I know it's post 9/11. I know it's Homeland Security.
The FBI was supposed to be temporary.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how the question was framed.
Was it just for dealing with the mafia, or why did they start it? What was
that's basically why the FBI was created. And then once they had dealt with the organized crime problem, they were supposed to disband, and instead they started eating other organizations and then inventing reasons for themselves to exist.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you, Josh. Do you have thoughts on that?
No, that's it.
All right, Wilford. Thank you. Moderate white dude. Wilford Brimley says, in a prior show, you asked what is the purpose of marriage and thus the sexual relationship, if not to produce children. To answer that question, you have to go back to the beginning, the very first marriage, that of Adam and Eve in Genesis 2:18, and the following, or it says the following: God tells us it was not good for man to be alone, and that he would create a help that was fitting for him, so he created a woman to give that help. He does not say he created woman so man could procreate. Given that, I would say the primary purpose of marriage is companionship. Well, I have not installed the sign yet. Maybe when I get back, I'll have the sign behind me. Got to tap the sign. The defining feature of the male-female relationship is the capacity to produce children. Now, I know they got you, Joshy. They got you going. Don't worry, he's got me going a little bit too. But as always, I mean, I don't know, Wilfred. I'm not trying to take shots at Wilfred. I have strong feelings about this, of course. Now, I'm not scriptural expert guy. I've done a little bit of Genesis in the Bible study. He is correct that Genesis 2 does indeed say what he says it says, that God said it's not good for man to be alone. I'm going to make a suitable helper for him, so he made woman. It also says in Genesis 1, the chapter before that, God made male and female and blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply, or increase in number. I don't think it's right to say that God did not design or tell Adam and Eve to reproduce, or did not view that as the formative reason for their relationship. But that's just the scriptural component. This idea that companionship is the purpose of a marriage. Okay, what separates your marriage from poker night with your buddies? That's companionship. Why do you need a marriage if you have poker night with your buddies? What separates your marriage from a walk with your dog? That's great companionship too. What separates your marriage from Xbox Live chats with your buddies who live across the country? That is also companionship. And I'm not even dismissing any of those things as valid companionship or saying that you can't or shouldn't get companionship out of your marriage. I'm asking, what is the characteristic of your marriage that separates it from all other relationships you have? And it is the capacity to have children, to build family, to build the future, to provide the next generation, to make sure that humanity has something in the future and is able to pursue its purpose. If everybody pursued companionship as the formative reason for marriage, and we just hang out, and that's the point, and kids are either not a consideration or maybe they happen, but it's kind of incidental. If everybody lives that way, humanity does not have a future. We will die out because the formative reason for marriage has been lost. So anyway, I should have just tapped the sign. Do you guys have thoughts on that?
Well, you pretty much just kind of answered it, so I'm not gonna harp on it too much longer. There is a counter argument to marriage, right? So there's two types. There's a state marriage and there's a covenant marriage. State marriage, some people argue, well, if the whole purpose is to create a family, I can do that with my girlfriend, right? I don't have to be married to her. We can live together as a family, et cetera, et cetera. Anything you can do as a married couple, I can do with my girlfriend or boyfriend, et cetera. So there's a counter argument for that.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is an argument more so for secular men, right? It's not necessarily for the religious men. But
Right,
go ahead.
but the trouble is we have seen that in theory, yes, you could do everything with your wife that you could with your girlfriend given identical circumstances. But the problem is actually the statistics don't bear that out, right?
Yeah.
So when you don't make that commitment, when you don't really, I think it's about making the promise to that other person that you are theirs forever, because you don't get that if it's just a girlfriend boyfriend relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
And
without that commitment, families fall apart all the time. So
Yeah.
can you do that? Theoretically, yes. But does it actually happen in practice that way? Not at all.
Yeah. And that's the distinction with covenant marriage, right? You're not just making a promise before God, you're also making it a promise before the church and its community, right? That's what binds you guys together as well, because they'll hold you accountable to that. This is why
It's
better
societal
to-
pressure, yeah.
Yeah, it's societal pressure, and you'll get ostracized if you break it, right? That's why I think covenant marriages are better than state marriages. So we're saying the same thing. It's just that
Yeah,
I
I
wanted to
think
offer
we're-
that. Yeah, I just
we're in
wanted to offer
violent
that counter.
agreement.
Yeah, I just wanted to offer that
Well-
counter argument that I heard.
I just want to thank you guys for your companionship on this stream. I find it very valuable.
Yeah.
And,
No,
I
it does
don't-
run with the bit. It does run with the bit.
I guess. Thank you, Wilfred. I appreciate it. As always, when I get these challenges on this topic, I don't mean to this is one of the most important concepts that, frankly, I don't know. Maybe I argue it poorly, or I don't know. But this is one of those things where I am actually surprised or shocked at how many people apparently disagree or want to challenge the point. Because
Yeah, you've been getting a lot of pushback on this.
I'm not that you can't. I appreciate, to the extent I think this is a very important topic. I welcome the pushback because I want to be as clear as possible and make sure we get this right. Because getting this question wrong is pretty consequential. If we get the purpose of marriage wrong, well, I guess we've done that for many years or decades in this country, and we're seeing the consequences already. But that's why it's so important to get it right. So, Wilfred, thank you for sending that in and being a good sport. And for anybody who does, whenever I throw a little fun or even shade at the topic, I don't mean it personally. It's like it's just a personal shock that I'm like, I don't get how my most controversial take is that the purpose of marriage is for having children and building a future. That's the take that okay.
Forget everything else
You
you
don't read your YouTube comments. You
Well-
get shit on for everything.
Well, of course. Yeah, but that's the internet. I just mean like what people are willing to write in about. And anyway, thank you, Wilfred. Banheim. Great show. Love every show. Well, thank you. See, he's not in the YouTube comments or wherever else. I've always been of the belief that married in family. So someone who's not a blood relative of you, but married into your family, married relationship to you, is still family even after a divorce. For example, a sibling spouse is now part of the family. I was wondering your take on that situation. I have family issues where I'm facing animosity for staying in contact with married in spouse or ex-spouse. I appreciate all you do. Well, thank you. So I'm going to make sure I understand this framework correctly. I'll tell you how I'm operating here, or the premise as I understand it. You're talking about staying in contact with an ex-brother or sister-in-law, like your brother or sister's spouse with whom they are now divorced. But you're staying in touch with either your brother's ex-wife or your sister's ex-husband, whoever that may be. So I'm operating within that framework. Now, for me, that would depend on two factors. I was thinking about this. I thought there were two factors. There are actually three. But the factors are this. The wishes of my sibling. Okay. This person entered your family through your sibling. And my loyalty is to my sibling first. And honoring their wishes. So if my sibling was divorced if my brother was divorced to his wife for whatever reason, whether it's his fault or not, if he told me, please do not talk to my wife, I would honor that. I'm not going to go behind his back. I'm not going to do things that he doesn't want me to do because he's my brother. And whether that woman is his wife now or was in the past, I mean, to me, even if they broke that relationship, that sort of husband-wife bond or even ex-husband, ex-wife, I'm not getting in the middle of that. I'm going to respect my brother's wishes.
Don't pull the pin on that grenade.
Number two, the circumstances of the split. Like, did this ex cheat? Did this ex commit some sort of wrongdoing that caused the split? Or were they victimized? Like, did my brother harm his wife in some way and that's why they got split? That would be a factor in my consideration. The third factor would be, are there children? Let's say that I had nephews or nieces, and in that case, I'm going to do whatever is best to keep the family as healthy as possible for those children. I'm not going to be hostile with that person, or I want the nephew and niece are my family no matter what. You can make the argument that the ex-sister-in-law, if that's the situation, is family to some extent, but I'm not going to create conflict for those kids. So if I'm supposed to be nice to the ex-wife for the sake of those kids, that's what I'll do. But thinking about that actually creates a very narrow set of circumstances in which I would talk to this person or have them as a part of my life after they've split from my sibling. Number one, sibling's approval. Number two, person did not harm my family with their actions. They are not like a cheater or they did something bad to my family. And number three, this person has children who are a part of my family. I want to give those children the best possible situation. So if those factors were satisfied, I'd be open to talking to this person. Other than that, probably not.
I think it also depends on your relationship with your said siblings, right? Because, for example, I did not have a good relationship with my eldest brother, and he has a baby mama, and I have a nephew by him, right?
Mhm.
So if he tells me don't talk to her for any specific reason, I'm basically going to ignore that because, first of all, you and I don't have a good relationship, and chances are you did something wrong. So on that case, I would go behind his back. I wouldn't. That's just
Without
me.
knowledge that he did something wrong, you would go behind his back?
I'm saying, because I know him, because he's always stays in trouble, right? Now I'm talking about personal relationship. So I guess in cases like that, I wouldn't really honor it like that. Because for me, it's like, well, you and I don't have a great relationship because how you treated me or everything. So how you treat me is how you treat everybody else. So I have to assume that you've probably done something wrong. But it does that it's kind of tricky for me at the very least. Like you said, it depends, right? It depends on relationship with family members themselves. It depends on the circumstances, if there are kids involved. But I still will treat them as family, even if they're divorced. Like if my father were to get divorced again, I mean, I wouldn't sure, I'll be less likely to talk to his ex-wife, but I will still consider her family. Does that make sense? Because she's been in our family for a long period of time.
And I think there's friendliness, like if you see them at a family function or something, and then there's like going behind someone to talk to them and form a relationship despite them. And I find that to be kind of odd. You know, if you're like, let's say that you were good friends with your brother's baby mama, but not your brother. I would find that to be pretty weird.
This entire conversation is fascinating to me because as an only child, I have given this exactly zero thought.
But no, see, and I kind of agree with you on that terms, Matt. What I'm saying is that not trying to build a relationship with an ex, I personally wouldn't do that. Like if my brother had no more contact with his baby mama or something like that, or if my father got divorced again or something like that, I wouldn't actually try to build a relationship, but I'm saying like if they needed help, right?
Oh, sure.
I was,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
I'm
I was
reaching
still like it's harder for me because once you're in the family, I just consider you family regardless, right?
Yeah, I guess we need to define what that's one thing I had considered in my answer is like, what is the scope of the interaction or the purpose? Like, are we hanging out and having a beer and chatting it up, or are they in need of some help that maybe I'm uniquely equipped to provide or something like that?
That probably the latter is what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't actually go out of my way and says, "Hey, how you doing?" and just want to check up on you.
Yeah.
But if they want to be like, "Hey, Josh, you're the only person that I can trust with this because you're the only person who knows how to handle it. I really need your help. I know I'm not part of the family anymore, but can you help me out?" I'll probably be more willing to do that rather than like, "Hey, let's go hang out and have a beer."
All right, Mr. Only Child, can you theorize about how you might handle such a situation?
Yeah, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to because I have no other frame of reference other than hypotheticals here. But I mean, I would assume that it would largely depend on contextual factors that go into it. Like, is there a good reason for you to be talking to this person in a manner that would go against family that you have already committed to by being related by blood?
Get tight on that
Right?
mic.
I would
I'm
think,
losing you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Is there a reason for you to be talking to this person in a way that would upset, blood family, right? Which you would have a prior obligation to, and I would assume a stronger one in most cases. Now I say most cases because you have situation like Joshy's where sometimes you're just related to a piece of shit, and every once in a while you just, family can do things that sunders your relationship with them. Right. I mean, look at Hunter Biden.
He's the smartest person Joe knows.
Come on, man.
Yeah. That whole thing with Bo's wife and him and all of that is just,
I think we can all agree. Don't sleep
gross.
with your dead brother's widow.
Dead brother's widow.
Yeah. And also don't let her throw your revolver in the dumpster or whatever happened.
Behind a school or some shit or wherever that was. Like, it was great.
You have to be more selective with your crack so those things don't happen.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Thank you, Banheim. Sorry.
Assuming you have good relationships with your blood family, if there's a reason that your blood does not want this person interacting with what is also their blood, then I would assume that's usually probably for a good reason, whether that is maintaining family cohesion or whatever, right? You got to stick with your family as best as we individual humans are able to.
Agreed.
So if that involves cutting somebody out who they done wrong, or maybe they didn't, and maybe there's just it's just don't talk to my ex-wife because if I found you two in a friendly relationship, it would just, it would make me think bad thoughts, and the blood needs to stick together. Then that's what you do. You got to cut that person out.
I can only agree with that to an extent, though. Right?
Of course. I mean, this is going to be highly dependent on a lot of contextual factors.
Yeah.
Again,
but
maybe your blood relative is just a fuckface.
Yeah.
And their opinion is not only irrelevant, but also maybe detrimental to what's best for you and what's best for your blood. That's possible. Right.
Yeah,
so
but
this is a question that I think needs to be very much handled on a case by case basis.
Yeah, I do agree with you guys overall, though.
All right. Well, thank you, Banheim. Appreciate the question. Last one comes from the Toaster. Do you think that it is becoming more common for both debate bros or for debate bros both on the left and the right to use paid actors or controlled opposition in order to make the other side look bad. I had this thought while I was watching the Mehdi Hasan debate with far-right conservatives on Jubilee, and some of Steven Crowder's opponents on the Change My Mind series that he has have also been complete caricatures. Now, I have not seen the Mehdi Hasan episode. I've seen some of the clips circulating on X. I have seen others in that series. I hadn't considered the possibility that some of these people may actually be paid retards.
We're not paid actors. It really happened.
And I could see that happening. There are incentives, of course, for content producers to do that. I mean, you need to make there are multiple incentives. One, it's going to be the content that gets the eyes and makes money. And two, if you have a political motive trying to make your opposition look bad, like you're saying, Toaster, then maybe you fake it. There are all kinds of incentives to fake it. So I could see it happening. I don't have evidence to say that anybody's doing that. I've never heard of anybody doing that or seen anybody do that. The only, I don't have a lot of experience with this sort of content, like on the street stuff or like random on the spot encounters or debates like that. That's not really my thing. So I can't say for sure based on whether I've experienced it or not. The only counter I could offer is based on the limited experience I do have. Don't underestimate the power of the retard on the street. And when I say that, I mean, like the last time I did it was the January 6th stuff a couple years ago, giving a very gentle speech about due process for the accused. And maybe some of the January 6th prosecutions have been slightly overzealous. I had old people telling me to eat shit and die and calling me a Nazi. And those were not fake. Those were real people in my town who were completely insane. And so the politically deranged are definitely out there on the street. They're readily accessible. They're not extremely hard to find to the extent that I just like said something generically against their position and they all freaked out. And I'm in a small town kind of in the middle of nowhere, smaller relative to the rest of the country. So even though some of them seem fake, I don't know. I mean, I could see them being faked, but I don't think they're fake is what I would say. I don't think that people in Change My Mind are fake. I don't think people on Jubilee are fake. I think what we're watching is probably real. Am I naive in that, or am I correct?
No, I agree. And in particular, when it comes to like Crowder and stuff like that, of course, he's going to show the people who look like complete caricatures. He's largely a comedian, so he's going to want content that is, overtly engaging in that way. That's just the kind of person that he is. But also, if you watch his Change My Mind series, if you've, I'm assuming you've seen a lot of them, you get perfectly normal, reasonable people in there too, and that can be kind of heartwarming, right? Where you see somebody who walks up, who has frankly the sheer spine to walk up and talk to somebody like Crowder when you disagree with him, because his whole thing is dismantling people in insulting and funny ways. If you'll see people who go up there and they'll have orthodox leftist views, but then when pressed on their convictions, when it comes to how married they are to that ideology, when they're presented with scenarios that they hadn't imagined before, they're willing to change their minds. They're willing to do things like, oh yeah, okay, I agree with that, and sort of be molded in that way by a more reasonable presentation than perhaps what they were given before. So I don't think that these are paid actors, because I think it would be very difficult to simulate that in a way that does not feel scripted.
Yeah, and for them not to break character.
Yeah.
And the same thing does a lot of the interviews that I've been watching. I watch more typical blood sport things. So
I
take
love that too, yeah.
Take the Whatever podcast, for example, or some of those interviews. It's only specific people I like to watch on there. But if you ever watched
Andrew
interviews,
Wilson.
yeah, Andrew Wilson is amazing.
He's
I also
fabulous.
watch.
Yeah.
I've also seen like Jay Dyer and Made by Jim Bob, and I've watched like other type of debates too. But Even take people like Charlie Kirk. I'm not a huge fan of Charlie Kirk, but those interactions are real. I don't think they're super fake. I think we're kind of keen on what's fake and what's real at this point, although sometimes it's hard to tell with all the crazies out there.
I just wonder how ridiculous would a fake actor have to be before I would obviously know that's a fake actor. And I don't know that there is such a thing with how crazy these people are.
Yeah.
In large part because people legitimately thought for a long time that the Titania McGrath account was an actual leftist.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. Is that one still active? It took me a second, but I know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's right.
And
okay.
It's that stuff and the Babylon Bee kind of prove that these people are beyond parody, right?
Yeah.
They are so ridiculous that in trying to be as ridiculous as possible, you wind up just emulating them.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Toaster, and thanks to all of our email question askers. As a reminder, if you'd like to send something for consideration when the stream comes back in September, you can do that through the contact page of my website, mattchristiansenmedia.com/contact. Send them there, and we'll be happy to get back into the email inbox once the stream returns. Speaking of, I have some thoughts about the break, but I'm going to save those for after Super Chat. So let's get into some Super Chat, and then we'll close out with a few thoughts. But over on YouTube and Tippy, Long Dong John, Matt, did you see the story of someone throwing a dildo on the court during a WNBA game? I'm sure it'll break their viewership record. I didn't hear that one. Let me pull it up. Thank you for the link. Sex toy thrown on the court during final moments of WNBA game. Did you guys see this?
No, I don't watch sports. Especially the WNBA.
No, I was going to say all 12 people who watched the WNBA saw this, and they're all in Wyoming.
I have to be there. It is. Yeah, I have to be careful with the audio. The copyright on this stuff is pretty ironclad. So, but yeah, you could see it. It was green. There you go. Someone threw that on the court. Now, what I saw. Can I show that, or is Raju Mohan going to bust me for that? What I saw was one of these players in the WNBA got her wig ripped off, or it fell off, and then someone in the crowd made fun of her, and the person got kicked out of the game, banned. You can't laugh at someone when their wig falls off. So, I don't know.
Weave.
Yeah, is a weave different from a wig, or are they the same thing?
Yeah, weave is it's like extensions. You add it to your hair, so it becomes part of your hair. A wig is just something you put on.
I think this was a wig, straight up. I don't think this was a weave. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I don't think
see black chicks and think weave.
Either way, I hope that the person who picks up that thing off of the court was wearing gloves.
Right.
It's not against the law. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, that's how you measure the severity of a. That's how you measure the severity of a Waffle House fight. How many weaves are on the ground? Was that a 3-weaver? Is that a 5-weaver? I don't know.
You see that video that was going around some time back of the guy with the leaf blower who was just blowing people's wigs off?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, he would deliberately sweep it upward and underneath and behind people so it sent the wigs flying into the air. It was just some black dude, and he was doing it basically exclusively to black women.
Oh my gosh.
Esoterica Unbound, Batman's prognostications are so on point that since the big bad boondoggle passed, I've already ordered a stamp-free suppressor. Oh wait, never mind, winky face.
Hey. All right, listen. I said I called that one. I didn't say that my predictions are always correct. Fuck you.
And also, they're not stamp-free, but I believe that come January, you will be able to get them for $0. Now, of course, the major problem with the tax stamps is how much information you have to submit, and you have to tell the government exactly what you have and all that. So it's not the $200.
And what you're using it for. So my favorite story you have to give them a reason why you want it.
Oh yeah, well,
the tax stamp
yeah,
thing,
I remember when I got my short-barreled rifle, I thought, can I put Parkland 2 on this to troll, or will they?
I think my favorite entry there that I've heard so far is Rainbow Six LARPing.
As in what? What did
that's
what they put was
Rainbow?
Okay, so it was Rainbow Six LARPing. I'm just going to be a Rainbow Six guy. Okay. There's got to be a story of someone out there who has put a trolley response and it was fine. That's got to be something people have done.
Yeah, I'm telling you one.
Oh, that was real? That wasn't a joke?
Yeah, somebody put Rainbow Six LARPing on the paperwork,
and they got the tax stamp approved.
And they got the tax stamp approved.
Oh, huh. Well, maybe now that they're free, maybe I'll consider it next time. Anyway, so Esoteric Unbound, his prognostications were not that far off. Also says the idea that the FBI was established to deal with organized crime is not really true. They denied the existence of the mafia until 1957, when a literal convention of mobsters got busted by local cops. Oh, so they denied until the problem was real, and then they thought, oh, fuck it, we can't deny it anymore. Might as well seize all the power on this basis.
Wow.
Is how it happened. I don't know the history of the FBI's origin very well, so I guess I should look into it.
It was, it was primarily for the purposes of busting down organized crime and stuff like that. I mean, whether or not they admitted that it existed or not, that's what it was for.
What did they do with all their Tommy guns? They have a warehouse of those somewhere?
I would love to own one.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
You can still get a semi-auto one, Joshy. I mean, you can
nice.
Technically get a full auto, but good luck.
If you're willing to drop $20,000 on it, yeah.
But
Jesus Christ.
But you can get a semi-auto Thompson, and I've wanted to buy one for a long time just because they're cool, but I never have.
They are cool.
I just stick to a compound bow.
Well, if you want to, maybe the Thompson is the path to get you more firearms interested. But you can compound bow too. I don't know. You get a drum mag on your Thompson. You know, make it fully mobbed out.
Yeah.
Why not?
I gotta embrace my inner Cherokee first, though.
Although they're not going to let you have it short. If you want to have it short, you're going to have to, do what we're talking about. Pay the feds a couple $100.
Instead, you have to have this like big, long, ridiculous 16-inch barrel on what's supposed to be a little submachine gun. So,
although someone's got to make a brace for Thompsons, don't they? I guess I haven't looked into that, but
that very idea sounds hideous.
Yeah, it's got it. It's one of those guns that has to have a wood stock. It just does.
Yes, absolutely.
So, anyway, purpose of the age is no one can tell me not to text my brother's ex-cousin. Wait, let me read that again. No one can tell me not to text my brother's ex-cousin. How can you be ex-cousins?
Ex-cousin?
You can't do that.
Ex's cousin?
Do you mean that your brother married his cousin? I don't know. I don't care if my wife says she looks like Sydney Sweeney in a sundress. Family is family. Sometimes family needs a late night text. She never replies. So it's Sydney. All right. There's a joke in there somewhere. Honorary rim shot. I'm not sure I followed it, but I'll allow it. Purpose of the ages. Thank you. And all the best to you and your family. Esoteric Unbound. Matt, welcome to...
Oh, I think I got it.
Okay, you want to explain it?
Well, the whole genes thing, right? Genetics and whatnot. I think that's what the joke was getting
at. Okay. Legitimate rim shot. Okay.
If you're saying ex-cousin, I'm thinking, like, what does Ilhan Omar have to do with this?
You want to talk about complex family situations. Who can talk to who?
Her family tree's a straight goddamn line.
Esoteric Unbound. Matt, welcome to what I like to call real parenting, when you're forced to switch from playing man-on-man to zone defense. That's true. Thankfully, we have the help of my parents living close by. For those of you with 3 children or more who are young and you don't have parental help, I don't know how you do it. You're a pro. But it's strangely liberating to be outnumbered by your offspring. Well, that's what I look forward to, too. Our two boys are playing with each other a lot now because they're both running around. And so even though we have another one on the way, the fact that they can entertain each other a little bit, I think will help with the situation. But it's going to be fun to watch. Also says, you get to abandon the delusion that you are in control. All you can do is keep them from setting fire to the house. Well, if I accomplish that, that'll be good. So just enjoy being along for the ride. Well, I certainly do. And I want to talk a little bit about those themes in just a moment when I talk about the break here. But we'll finish up with Rumble. Let me get on Odyssey first, and we'll talk Rumble after that. Blanket says, Matt, would you eat this? And it's Oreo Reese's combo. Now it's funny because my wife showed me that earlier today. And yeah, I'm sure I'm going to try it over the break. In fact, we're going to take a little bit of a family trip next week, and so it'll be a little bit of a road trip. If I see it at any of the town pumps on this road trip, I'm going to buy it right up. Oreo Reese's mashup. And
that sounds like diabetes in a wrapper.
My wife and I, we're the people that we're the things that make these marketable. Like whenever they could come out with like, new ass flavored Sour Patch Kids. It's like, well, we have to try it. Well, they came out with the I'll try ass flavor. You could release dick flavor Sour Patch Kids. I gotta know. I'm curious.
Somebody was gonna send me that.
Well, you specifically absolutely need to try those mystery flavor Skittles. Have you seen those?
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, it doesn't. If you tell me that it's some obscure mystery flavor, we're gonna try it, and so we're the reason that this kind of crap succeeds.
Well, okay, but I say that because for the mystery flavor Skittles, it was called like mystery power something or whatever for Skittles, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, they were all white, so the tags on a bunch of stores read white power.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah. There, that was a good moment. So would I eat that? Yes, I would. Make whatever weird flavor you want.
Do you guys have something called Bean Boozled where you're from?
No, I've never heard of that. What is that? Okay, some kind of Southern nonsense?
Well, I don't know if it's Southern nonsense, but in my hometown, we have this place called Rocket Fizz, and they have this candy called Bean Boozled, right? And they have different flavored jelly beans. You can have one that tastes like snot, tastes like piss, or tastes like licorice or cherry.
Give me those, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try them.
It'll be perfect.
Wasn't that basically a concept that was lifted, shall we say, from the pages of Harry Potter?
Yeah, that's exactly where it came from.
Huh. Matt, what do you think about having guest hosts while on vacation? It's a lot of work, actually, and I don't know that it works on YouTube. Like, if you got a radio show and you're a radio station and you need to fill that air, maybe it works. But when people do guest videos and stuff on YouTube, in my experience, it never works because people are subscribed to that channel for that person's content. Even if your substitute is great, that's not why they're there. And so to me, it's actually counterproductive. It can be damaging. Like, it can annoy people. And in my case, like, to make a substitute for the stream or my videos, like, it's not just that you're not me, and it's that there's a lot of work to do that. Like, I don't know who's going to do it. Someone would have to put a ton of time to it. And I don't know that I'd be able to make it worth their time either. So I think certain formats it might work. I don't think YouTube is a format where it works. So it won't be happening around here. But
and I've never, I don't know whose channel I subscribe to, but whenever they had a guest person to cover for them, I was like, yeah, that's fine. But I've also kind of immediately hated it because it wasn't the person I expect.
It's impossible, man. Yeah, exactly. Like, no matter, even if you're very good, you're not that person. You're not what they're looking for. And so it's like, one of the toughest spots professionally, I think, would be like to fill in for someone in that role, or like someone dies and you have to replace them. Like when Rush Limbaugh died, for example, the people who took over that radio slot on certain stations. It's just like, no matter how good you are, you're not him. So you can build your own audience over time, but it doesn't matter if you're awesome. There's just a certain amount of those people that just are not going to translate, not going to come to you to the next thing. Just because you put, like, people are signed up to listen to person A. So no matter how good person B is, they're still not person A. And it's difficult to work with in that way. But over on Rumble, AP Livin' for God 07. Super Chatter AP here. Well, thank you. This is my first Rumble rant because I've been banned from Super Chatting on YouTube to you. Enjoy the deserved break. I have the reminder on my calendar for September. Why are you banned? Thanks for supporting the show, but you weren't banned by me or I think any of my moderators. If you were banned by YouTube itself, sorry about that. But AP, if there's something I can do, if you were banned by, like, if you're just banned on my channel, maybe there was some kind of mistake or something, let me know. And thank you. All the best. Laughing Boy. This murder, the murder stat is based on murder per 100,000 people per capita, okay? Wyoming having 5 murders has 1 per 100,000. New York has a 19 million population and a murder rate of 4.2 per 100,000. Dem math for the win of 808 murders. I'll take your numbers as accurate. I don't know if, I assume that's probably about right. So yeah, if Wyoming has 5 murders on the year and there are 500,000 people there, they're at 1 per 100,000 despite their guns. Miraculous. Anyway, thank you, Laughing Boy. Also says, people need to watch Wyoming Gun Project's videos on the P320. We got into that on Sunday. I played one of his discharge videos. You can wiggle the slide so much that it disconnects the sear. Just placing a gun on a table shouldn't be enough to do that. Yeah, I don't know. That's the first time I've heard that explanation for what happened, so that could be true, maybe not. I don't know the source.
Well, the P320's been having problems for a long time.
Yeah.
And SIG has rather clumsily attempted to bury it more than once. And the most recent attempt that they made to fix it was basically the P320 is actually fine, but we are offering a free trigger pack upgrade to they stepped in it, and they're hoping that we don't smell it now. But I don't know. I think the memes that have come out of the P320 at this point have made the entire thing worth it.
I had a buddy in Costa Rica who sent me a joke saying that the liberals finally have a victory, seeing now guns can actually kill people on their own.
I've seen some memes to that effect. P320s do kill people for sure. Seems so. AP says, one more gun talk for Joshy Boy. If you guys want a good beltless concealed carry option, look up Ulti Clips. One of the co-owners has known me since I was born. Awesome dude and awesome clips. I haven't heard of it, but I'll check it out.
I'm writing it down right now.
I usually don't carry beltless. The only times I've carried beltless, I guess, would be like a pocket carry situation with a pocket holster. So I don't even know what these are, but I'll give it a look. You can send me an email with a link too if you'd like. Dangerous Spaces, friendly producer, call screener says, there are a few of these, so I'll just read them in sequence. Anybody who's been thinking about calling in, I will be contactable during the break. Happy to help. You can figure out how to call so you can be confident after the break. You can still go on the Discord server. That's right. As per the last message, are you okay, Matt, with me giving out that work email I've had for a few years now? Let me think about that. Let's talk about that offline. Hard to help people if they can't figure out how to get in Discord in the first place. Well, Discord is the best place to handle that stuff. So let's direct people that way. Discord's always linked in the description. You can talk to Tim in there. And we'll talk about the email maybe later. I just want to make sure I want to think about it. Make sure I'm handling that correctly. To address the first question, what if, in theory, God did or control everyone? How could God or anyone really be good if they control everything a person does? Isn't taking away freedom bad? Well, like how is the controlled person good or bad if they don't have the choice? And then how is God, the controller, good if you removed the capacity to choose, if choice is good? Yeah. Also says people can absolutely get one or maybe some political opinions from personal experiences. There are huge amounts of people now supporting mass deportation after being affected by illegals, for example. Yeah, that's another side of the
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. What is the difference between marriage and your relationship with your buddies on Xbox Live? Well, off the top of my head, I'm hoping Ping 2 calls you a faggot a lot less than your online buddies. No, probably more.
You're a faggot.
I get that at least daily, and she gets it in return too, I would say. So that's a healthy marriage. Also says, that's it from Dangerous Spaces. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ramsey C, you would enjoy a book recommendation, The Sin of Empathy by Joe Rigney. All right, keep that in mind. Thank you for the book recommendation.
I like that title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds like a white chick should read it. Thank you, Ramsey. Let me give a quick refresh over on YouTube and Tippy here. I think maybe one more. The purpose of the age is clarified. People say it's weird that I still message my brother's ex-cousin-in-law. So he has a relative like this that he still talks to. Now that's still a difficult relationship for me to think about. Brother's ex's cousin-in-law. I say it's loyalty. So what if my wife says she looks like Sydney Sweeney? I say she looks like someone who deserves to know how my day went at 11:47 p.m. Okay, this is still joke. I thought this was serious for a second. I think he's just making a joke that if my family member's ex looks like Sydney Sweeney, I'm definitely talking to her. I'm taking advantage of that opportunity. So I saw you liked some of my family's genetics. I have more to offer. I think maybe that's the bit.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right. we will leave it there. Now, in closing, I wanted to talk a little bit about the break. And if you guys have thoughts, I welcome them too. But let me just offer a few thoughts for consideration before I take off from the stream for a month plus, which is something I've never done in the history of my internet streaming and content creation. But this entire year, my church, my new church that I started going to in January, and my new Bible study leader, Reverend Rogers, they keep hitting on the same things simultaneously. And I'm pretty sure that neither one of them actually knows about each other. But of course, they teach the same topics. So it's, I assume, just coincidence that the topics align. But they frequently reference the importance of gratitude and humility in their sermons and in their teachings to me. And they say things like, you can't follow God, you can't serve God without those two things, gratitude and humility. You can't fulfill your purpose for God without those things. The gratitude to appreciate what you have, no matter how much you think you've lost or how much you may want more, or and the humility to understand that you aren't in command, that you aren't the best, you aren't the most important. There is something above you. You should always strive toward that, and to recognize, like we just heard about with the new parenting situation, you aren't always in control. You aren't the center of the universe. No matter how good you think you are, there's always a better version of you. There's always someone better than you, but there's a better version of you according to God's design too. You should always work toward achieving it. In other words, without gratitude and humility, you are bitter and self-important. With gratitude and humility, you are optimistic and introspective, and through those things, you serve God and his purpose for you. So, on these things, on gratitude, I just want to thank everybody who has stuck with me through this year, including both of you guys, Batman and Joshy Boy, for helping me to redevelop this stream. Everyone who's listening, thank you. Everyone who supports the show in whatever way you might, whether that's financial, if you super chat, if you just hang out in chat, if you send the show to a friend, if you call in, if you email. Thank you for helping me do what I love, even though it's been a very difficult time that has made it harder to do what I love doing. I appreciate that. And I'm also going to spend a lot of time over the break being thankful for what I have, because of course, what I have is not just this stream or this, my YouTube career, whatever that is. It's what it allows me to do. And that means my family. It means my parents, my kids, my youngest boy coming next month, my wife. If you have family, you really have everything, and you don't have to worry about much else. And so I'm going to spend the next month appreciating it. On humility, I'm going to spend a lot of time over the next month working on personal improvement, not just my internet product, including this show, but I want to make some upgrades. I want to tweak a few things. I want to try to make things a little shinier in some ways if I can. But I mean, as a man, there are a lot of things I'm working on behind the scenes that I hope will improve both my life and the professional product that I try to bring. This vacation is not just going to be like sitting around lounging, feeling self-satisfied, although there will be a decent amount of lounging, especially early on. But the point and the purpose of this vacation is to make some improvements intentionally every day. And I've got a list of tasks on my phone that's like 30 deep that I want to take care of. And so I'm going to be doing that. Gratitude and humility. That is what I am leaving with. That's what I plan to return with. September 7th is the target date for that. MattChristiansenmedia.com. In the meantime, any updates or changes I will post on the homepage. But once again, you guys, thank you for helping me rebuild this. And if you have any thoughts before the break, I invite you to offer them.
You want to go first, Batman, or me?
Why don't you take it?
All right. So in terms of gratitude, there's something that my pastor had said in my church. And he says it on the phrase of, I want what I have, right? And that will probably be the biggest form of gratitude that you have. So your wife, your boys, everything that you've gained throughout the years, you will want what you have. And that's the, I know I'm kind of repeating myself a bit, but you understand what I'm saying. Oftentimes when you, if you want to be, show great forms of gratitude, just look at where you are now and look where you were back then. You started off, I think I came in somewhere around 2016, but you said you started off just by making commentary behind Call of Duty, Call of Duty gameplay in the background, like most channels do these days. And look where you're at now, right? You're married, you got sons, you have a nice house, you run a business essentially. And I don't think you would trade that for anything.
Depends on your
whatsoever.
definition of business. But legally, as far as the IRS is concerned, yes, I do.
Yeah. But, and now that I think and then you actually stuck to your last name. You became Christian, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to the journey.
Yeah.
It's just a huge change. And I'm glad that people like me, Batman, the chat, everybody who's helped co-host can see that, right? Humility, I will also say this, that when you're praying, and I even mentioned this to Batman in our discussion when it comes to Christianity, whenever you pray, it is I forget what Bible verse I referenced to you, Batman. I'll have to look it up and maybe send it to Matt. But whenever you're praying, just ask Yahweh to have mercy on you, right? Because we are sinners. You should never go before him and be like, oh, I'm not like this, I'm not like that, because that's what the Pharisees have done. So humility is not just being like, I'm grateful for everything that I have. It's also understanding like, yeah, you're not in control. Yahweh can take away anything that he wants at any moment. And showing that humility is kind of grounds you, doesn't make you too big for your britches or anything. Because there's a lot of people who actually just do lack that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the thoughts, man. And it has been a lot of change, and I appreciate you being a part of that.
Yes.
Batman, I don't mean to put you on the spot for some like big best man speech or something like that. I just, if you have things you want to say, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been appreciating the show for a long time as well. Somewhere in 2016 is when I discovered your channel, because like many, I think, I got basically swept up into the whole Gamergate thing, and then went looking for channels that I could, listen to provide various perspectives that were not tainted by feminism and stuff like that. And that's where I came across Razor Fist and Sargon of Akkad, and then eventually yours. So I've been listening for a long time, and then, I started participating in the call-in show when that became kind of a thing. And this is, I've been, really happy to see it grow the way that it has. And when I was given an opportunity to participate in it myself in a more regular and direct way, I was happy to do so. And I'm really glad that it's working out. It's simultaneously, it's really fun, and it's also a huge relief that I haven't fucked everything up for you. So
same here, man.
I'm happy that things are sort of proceeding, even if there have been bumpy elements along the way. I'm happy with to see things proceeding in such a positive way for this show and for you and your family and everything. It's just it's heartwarming.
Well, thanks, man. The bumps are. The trick is getting the right amount of bumps. You don't want you want enough bumps.
You don't want
for
a completely
character.
smooth road, either.
No,
You want
I was
character, but
surprised
not
when
disaster.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised when you wanted me to help you co-host. Cause I was like, well, damn, what did I do? I don't consider myself as skilled as most of your other co-hosts, like Batman or other Matt and stuff. So I'm just kind of the guy who's like, hey, Josh, did you see this? It's like, nah, bro, tell me about it.
Well, thank you for calling other Matt skilled. He appreciates that. He appreciates the high regard.
I don't think I definitely don't think that I have longed for a public speaking career, which is why I say all the time, as some of the YouTube comments occasionally point out. I know I'm kind of trying to work on it, but also like this is it's embedded in my speech pattern over decades, so bear with me. I'm an amateur when it comes to this and all that, but I mean, I appreciate the compliment anyway. I don't think I'm professional at all.
Over on Rumble, producer Tim, for whom I am also thankful. He says, I'm grateful that Matt brought some goofy bastard from Australia who's not only, that he thought he was not only worth bringing on board, but sticking through even all the shit of the last year or so. Also, audience compliments. Well, thank you, Tim.
We love you. You're very special.
But
Dangerous Spaces is awesome, and he has been for years.
He's very reliable, man. I don't know. I can't think of a time where he didn't show up and help when he was supposed to show up and help. So that's a lot over so many years. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. We won't be any more dramatic or gay than that. We will just leave it right there. So,
at least not on stream.
for the last time for a month or so, thank you for tuning in tonight. Thanks to the live chatters, super chatters, making the live show a success. If you're listening on demand, thank you kindly as well for supporting the show. Thanks to Batman and Joshy Boy for sitting in. Thanks to producer Tim for his assistance. As always, find everything show related, mattchristiansenmedia.com or mattis.gay if you prefer brevity. I'll be back in September. All the best to you and yours. Until then, great night, great rest of summer.
See you around.
Night, y'all.